Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Meat, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home serviced for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside flooding those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade the Cesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free. Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but you don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies, doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And unfortunately, as we love to talk about the games and everything, but unfortunately, we got to start the show with an unfortunate story out of Vegas. And John Gruden resigned as Raiders head coach. Obviously, this had to happen. The Raiders had to get rid of him. And I mean, he resigned, but I feel like the Raiders forced him to resign. I mean, this obviously had to happen because the emails he sent out. I mean, these emails started in 2011 to Bruce Allen, where he criticized DeMaurice Smith. They were racist, misogynistic, and homophobic emails. That just cannot happen in today's time. You got to be progressive. I think it affected their game on Sunday. Once those players found out what happened, I felt like he started to lose the locker room on Sunday because this just can't happen. You cannot send these these times. You can't do that. And obviously, John Gruden. I mean, he's obviously he's had a pretty good reputation in the league before this, but his reputation has been ruined. It's completely ruined. He will not have he might coach maybe a Division III college team, but he will not have another job in the NFL. Not where our society is at. He will not have another job in this league. I mean, it's just, and he was kind of an edgy guy. I mean, he was kind of an edgy coach. He liked to criticize people at times, and you kind of felt like but I would never have expected this to happen. Never expect him to have, using race, and sending these kind of emails. It's just, it's unacceptable. It's inexcusable. There's no place for it in the NFL. And I am happy that the Raiders, that Gruden and the Raiders parted ways, because I've lost complete respect for John Gruden after what happened in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Those emails so unprofessional. They're just totally ridiculous. The stuff that he was, him and Bruce Allen were saying in those emails. Clearly, Braves did the right thing if they forced him out, or Gruden resigned. I absolutely agree. I think the team pretty much quit on him Sunday. You could really see it. They just didn't really put any fire with them. I think it was a move that had to be made. But yeah, like Gruden, yeah, he's kind of, I agree. He's kind of been an edgy guy. Like I would never thought he would have gone to the stuff that's, what he said. I don't think he would ever have that in him. But yeah, there's no room in the game for it. It's absolutely, just unprofessional. To be with a talking to another colleague like that, it's just totally unprofessional. It's totally just outrageous, and the Raiders did the right thing to move on for him. And it's just it's something. Yeah, it's just no room for it. I can't believe that he's actually said that he said some of those things, and absolutely doing the right thing. I know the Bucs now are going to take him off the Ring of Honor, which is great move to do as well.
Great move. Yeah. And that's the reason why he's not getting another job in this league. And there's no way. I just can't see it. And great move by the Bucs. Taking his name out of the Ring of Honor. Great move.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely not going to have another job at ESPN, at another coaching job. I don't think he'll get a coaching job at college. Why would you want to send your kid to a coach that kind of talks like that?
Especially if your son's. Yeah, I mean, yeah. How is he going to be able to lead? Not even an NFL locker room, a locker room of most college, all the college locker rooms in the NFL. They're very diverse. They're very diverse. How is he going to be able to lead that? I don't feel like he's going to be able to lead that. I think he lost his credibility completely with these emails.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's well deserved that he has as well. Especially too to have a guy like Carl Nassib who came out as the first openly gay guy in the NFL, and that guy's in your locker room, and that's stuff you have to say to him. It's just so unprofessional. It's something that I never thought he'd say some stuff like that. The Raiders made the right move, and it had to happen. You could see they didn't really want to play for him Sunday.
Yeah, great point about Nassib too. He openly announced he was gay, and you have your coach basically, making fun of, having emails making fun of people that are gay, which that's just unacceptable. And I think, yeah, absolutely a great move. But we got to get on to a couple other angles in this situation. The angle we're going to take is how is this going to affect Derek Carr? I mean, Derek Carr had a really good season. How is this going to affect Derek Carr? In my opinion, I feel like it might affect Derek Carr because I felt like he had some chemistry with John Gruden. And now he's going to have to find chemistry with the. I'm not sure the offensive coordinator is going to have to find chemistry with him. I think there's going to be some struggles from Derek Carr. I think this could affect Derek Carr going forward.
I could see it. Now their offense coordinator is Greg Olsen, who hasn't called the plays. It's all Gruden that calls the plays. So it's going to be kind of interesting because I know I've seen so many Raider games. I know my dad and brother are very happy. Gruden.
Did you watch the Raider? Did you watch the Raider game last week?
Yes.
So did it? I'm throwing a little bit of a curveball here. Did it seem like the team was distracted by the situation?
Yeah,
during the game,
because they made so many mental mistakes. Well, I know the Raiders do. But they didn't the Bears have Hakeem Nicks, and I thought Derek Carr could have a much bigger day, but they just seemed kind of again they couldn't get a big stop. Justin Fields wasn't great. They just kind of made a lot of mistakes. It just didn't seem like they had really any fire coming out of them. It just, it was just figured at home, it just seemed like they were just flat as a pancake, and they kind of, that this was kind of the issue. There's an issue with this.
Who do you think it's going to affect more, the Raiders as a team or Derek Carr as a quarterback? Who do you think this is going to affect more, or could it completely affect both?
I think it could affect both. It'll be interesting because I know Derek Carr and Gruden actually are neighbors. I don't know how much longer Gruden's going to be in Vegas, but he just finished. They just built a house. He's next to Carr, so I think he could still kind of see Gruden around. I don't know how much respect Carr has for him at the moment about everything that's come down. But I think, for Carr, and I know at first, him and Carr, because it didn't really seem like Gruden liked Derek Carr at first. It kind of seemed like he wanted to kind of. It didn't.
It seemed like they were shopping around and getting quarterbacks. It seemed like, because they were in the Tom Brady sweepstakes. Yeah, and they were thinking about drafting the guy in 2019. Yeah, first, it definitely didn't seem like they liked Gruden liked Carr.
Yeah, because he brought in Mariota too. Because if you remember in his, what he used to do, he's been like that quarterback draft room. He loved Mariota. He was all over Mariota. So I think he brought him too to see could he take Derek Carr's job and I could use him. But I think he's starting to. I think he's really started to like him for good reason. Derek Carr has been really, really good. I know last week it struggled, but I could see it. I think play calling wise, like I think it's gonna open it up. I just like my dad and brother call it out every time. Every time they're in the I formation, you just follow the fullback. That's where they're running back. So like they're so predictable. So I feel like now with Greg Olsen, I think they may open it up, and I think that could help Carr. But like I wonder for the team, like of everything that went down, like I think it could help them, but I don't really know yet because I don't know. What their feelings are from all this from the team. They got to be kind of angry, especially like a guy like NASA. Like, I think the Raiders could really kind of use this as, a motivation to kind of, get right. But, I'm not sure how all in they were on Gruden. Like they were playing well, but like it was still kind of the same old Raiders, even with Gruden. Like the same mental mistakes, just kind of just shooting themselves in the foot like they do week in, week out.
Absolutely. And what you saw with Gruden a lot is they would get off the hot starts and then they would completely fall apart late in the year. Like you remember last year, they were like, 6-4, 7-4. And like one of the few wins they got was the game the Jets handed them at the end of the year. So they probably should have lost out at the end of the season. I think the two games they won last year at the end of the year was the game where the Jets handed to them. And then the game where the Broncos, I think they went for 2 at the end and they missed it. So they've just beat 2 bad teams at the end of the year. So it seems like by the end of the year, the Gruden's teams wear down. So we'll see what effect it has. One of my friends, Rich Bisacci, is one of my friend's uncles. I'm not joking. So
really?
And he's been in the league for years. So he was with the Buck. But the thing is, though, with the locker room, he's been with Gruden for a while. That's the thing. So I think Rich Bisacci he's been a special teams coach for years. He was in Tampa. He was in Dallas. I think he was with the Chargers for a year, and then I think he went to the Raiders. But I think it was Bucks, Chargers, Cowboys, then Raiders. But he's been in the league for years as a special teams coach, Rich Bisacci. So we'll see how the team responds to Rich Bisacci. But still, he's been with Gruden, so I don't know how they're going to respond to him.
Yeah, it is. That's that's an interesting point there because and I know like some of the colleagues that you kind of hear on ESPN have gone like, I never really imagined this for Gruden. Like maybe he had no idea about all this. Who knows? But yeah, like if he kind of knew, maybe who knows? We don't know that information yet, but I mean, we may never know. But yeah, like if he's a guy that's really close to Gruden, maybe he knew. Probably knows him closer than most. So again, maybe Gruden kind of felt comfortable speaking, saying stuff that, he said to Bruce Allen those emails. Who knows? I know, like, they just hired Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator. Like, that's a guy that's kind of brand new to Gruden. He's been a head coach, too, at this level. So I think that's going to help. And the defense has really improved on them this year.
Yeah, that might have been my choice to be the interim head coach, would have been Gus Bradley. Yeah. It probably would have been no offense to Rich Bisacci, he's been in the league for years, but I probably might have gone Gus Bradley as the interim head coach.
Yeah, I was surprised. I figured it was going to be Gus Bradley too. I really liked what he's doing with his defense. They're really much improved this year. And he's got the head coaching experience. So that's where I felt they were going to go. But Mark Davis decided to go there. So I guess we'll see. But we'll kind of see where they're. And I'm trying to think Mayock, because Mayock was Gruden's guy. So if he was a GM and he kind of appointed appointed kind of the intern, I don't know if it was him or Mark Davis. I don't know if Mayock has a relationship with Rick Bisacci, you said, right? Bisacci. So I don't know if Mayock had a relationship with him more than maybe a Gus Bradley. Maybe that's why he gave it to him. I'm not sure, but it was a interesting hire. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And the Raiders got to play a game on Sunday, and they go to Denver to face the Broncos. And I still think that this thing is lingering over them. I think they're going to have a tough day in Denver. I think the Raiders are going to have a tough time protecting Derek Carr. I think the Broncos will move the ball with Teddy Bridgewater and put up some points. I got the Broncos beating the Raiders 27-17. Justin, who do you got in this game?
Yeah, I got the Broncos 23-20. I'm with you. I think this link is a little bit still of a linger for the Raiders for another week or so. I think they play better than they did last week, but I think the Broncos are able to run the ball against the team. I think the Raiders make a couple mistakes. I'll take the Broncos win this game 23-20.
Alrighty, let's get into the big game in Foxborough this weekend as the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys travel up to New England to face the 2-3 New England Patriots. And I do think Belichick, because there's a chance Zeke might not play, so I do think Belichick, confuses Dak a little bit early in this game. The Patriots stay in this game early, but eventually I feel like the passing game of the Cowboys is going to be too much. I feel like Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott are going to move the ball in New England. I feel like this Cowboys defense, it's forced turnovers every game. Trayvon Diggs is at a pick every game. I feel like that's going to continue this week. I think he's going to have a pick of Mac Jones because we saw Mac Jones against the Saints. I'm not going to count the Houston game playing from behind. Houston's terrible. We saw when Mac Jones played against the Saints, he had trouble playing from behind. I think it's going to be the same story this week because Trent Brown, I think, is still on IR. So I think they're going to get the Cowboys with Randy Gregory are going to get some pressure on Mac Jones. I think they'll have a turnover in this game. And I do think, it's close early, but the Cowboys pull away late. Maybe the Patriots score a touchdown at the end of the game. I got Dallas going to 5-1, beating the Patriots 30-20. But Justin, can Bill Belichick devise a game plan to confuse Dak? And can Mac Jones move the ball in this Cowboys defense for the Pats to pull the upset?
I think they will. Now, I just don't think they're going to go. They're 0-3 at home. I can't see them going 0-4 at home to start out. Last week, the Texans handed the Patriots that game. The Patriots had no business winning that game. Their secondary was horrible. Chris Moore, a guy that's been mostly a practice squad guy, absolutely destroyed us last week. And Davis Mills tore us apart. But I think this defense plays a lot better this week. I think they kind of do some of the same thing they did against Brady. I know against the Bucs, again, it was raining. That helped. But I think they're able to do enough to slow down the Cowboys. The Patriots' biggest problem is, it's been 22 times this year where it's been for the opponent, it's been like 3rd and short. So 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 3. They've allowed like 8.7 yards per play on those 3rd downs. That's got to, you cannot keep allowing that to happen.
The thing in this game though is with the Cowboys offensive line and Tyron Smith playing great, I think they're going to convert those.
Yeah, I am worried about that. But I think they do scheme up enough in this game where, Matthew Judon's been playing out his mind. Again, Matthew Judon was the only guy on the defense side of the ball last week that showed up in last week. I feel like the defense really bounces back this week. I can't see the defense playing that bad again, because they're better. And I think too, Jamie Collins has always been great under Bill. I know he's struggled outside of everywhere he's been beside New England. I think he's going to get some more playing time because Hightower's really struggled. Bentley's got to be a force in this game. I'm not a big Bentley fan, but we got to kind of live with him right now. I think we play better. I think, without Gilmore now, I think this defense starts to step up. I think they do enough to slow down the weapons. They did it because, a few years ago they held Dak to, I think, 10 points. They really slowed them down that game. I think they do some of the same stuff that they did in that game. And I think the Patriots do find a way to win this game 27-23.
You bring up the loss of Gilmore. Do you feel like in the first half last week that affected that defense, them trading Gilmore? Do you think that affected the defense a little bit in the first half last week?
I think it did. They were mostly in man-to-man that half. And it was just like Chris Moore just burning him down the field.
It seemed like J.C. Jackson wasn't as good last week either.
No, and I don't know what was going on with him, but no, he really struggled. I know Mills was banged up, those guys, kind of really struggled. McCourty, I think, made a mistake or two, on this tackle. They really struggled. And it was surprising. I know Mills is still banged up. I think he's still on the injury report, but I think he's supposed to play. If not, that's going to be a huge loss. But yeah, Jonathan Jones, I think, got beat once or twice. Again, they didn't really get much pressure on Davis Mills, so he was kind of sitting back there kind of all day. So I think it did affect the defense or the secondary. Yeah, I think it did really have a part of it because I think it was a big blow. And, Mac Jones is even kind of saying, Stephon Gilmore sat down and watched film with Matt. Like I think he's a big loss in that locker room. He's gone now.
Yeah, we'll see how that ends up working out this year. But you did bring up previously too, the Patriots aren't going to lose 4 in a row at home. I just feel like this is ever since the middle of 2019. This is just a different Patriots team. They're not the Patriots we know of. And I think the problem is the talent on this roster. I know Hunter Henry stepped up a little bit. Damian Harris hasn't had as good of a year. He's got to stop fumbling in the red zone. I mean, that's just he's got to stop doing that. He's got to stop fumbling in the red zone. He hasn't had as good of a year. I don't like really any of the receivers. I think the defense, Hightower has struggled outside of Judon. I mean, J.C. Jackson's been pretty good too outside of last week, but Cordy looks old. I know you talk about the Patriots aren't going to lose 4 in a row. Dallas is just, I think, in my opinion, just the much more talented team. That's why I think they win it by 2 scores. And I know on this show we've not been high on Dallas, and I'm still not that high on Dallas. I still think that in the NFC that the Cardinals are better. I still think the Rams are better. I still think that the Packers are better. I still think the Bucs are better. I think they're arguably not even a top 5. I don't think they're a top 4 team, and they're arguably not even a top 5 team in the NFC. I still have issues with their defense. I think they gave up some yards to Mike Glenn last week, but I just feel like man for man, I just feel like the Cowboys are just clearly the better team.
Yeah, I think they are too, and I think that's what we're all saying about the Bucs too. They were the better team, which obviously they were. And again, the rain helped. The weather really helped the Patriots out that day. I believe it's supposed to be nicer Sunday.
It's gonna.
But yeah, like Damian Harris, he's been a problem. Like I want them to go see if they can go get Marlon Mack. Like they need another running back.
That'd be a good pickup. That'd be a really good pickup there. After they traded Sony Michel, I think it'd be a really good pickup there.
Yeah, because they're missing Michel, and I didn't really think we would with Harris, but we are. Brandon Bolden can't do it. Raheem Stevenson, I think he's a work in progress. Taylor had a fumble, so Bill kind of took him off the active roster for now. So yeah, like we need another running back. Wide receiver, and I think part of their offensive problem too is it's like when we get in the red zone, we're just so concerned. Like we threw a screen pass last week, but they took Aguilar and Bourne off the field, and they took off Myers and Aguilar. They brought in Kendrick Bourne and N'Keal Harry, and the Texans knew it was a screen coming.
If they're going to win this game, they cannot be conservative. They cannot be conservative and beat this offense. This is one of the top offenses in the league. They cannot be conservative if they want to win this football game. McDaniels and Belichick cannot go in with a conservative game plan.
No, they cannot. And McDaniels is really starting to. I'm starting to really get up with his play calling right now in the red zone because again, like Max played well. Like that one interception last week, he kind of said like when he stepped into it, one of his linemen, he got pushed back into him, or he saying so like that was kind of like the one mistake. Like they let him air it out, but then they get the red zone and it's like they don't trust him. So yeah, they cannot be conservative. They got to start letting him kind of air it out in the red zone because that's the only shot they really have to win this game. But he'll go up against his former teammate in Diggs. So we'll see how he does. He probably knows some of what he likes to do in practice too, facing him at Alabama going up against him. So that'll be an interesting matchup there. But I think the Patriots somehow find a way to win this game.
Yeah, I just feel like, knowing you, I feel like you can't pick a team with you can't pick the Cowboys to beat Bill Belichick. Yeah. I just feel like you can't do it because the Cowboys they fooled us for years. That's the thing with the Cowboys. They fool you for years, and because they always sometimes they start really well, but they either fell apart in December or they've gotten the number 1 seed and lost in the divisional round. They just fooled us for years. They've never been in the NFC Championship game in a quarter century, so it's hard for us to call them an elite team.
Yeah, absolutely. They have, they've had their chances and they just haven't been able to capitalize on it. Yeah, because I think when the last time they played 2019, it was like 14-10. It was something like really low scoring type of game. Yeah, like I get McCarthy's an okay coach. Like Bill, I guess almost lost to David Colney last week, but like I think, yeah, like I just can't see Bill kind of losing a game like this. Like against the Cowboys, I think they find a way. Yeah, they look good so far, Dallas, but they've surprised me a bit. Like they have surprised me with because their defense has gotten better.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's better. With
Yeah.
Parsons and Diggs, it's better. It's not. Don't tell me it's a top 10 defense. It's a better defense. It's better. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
And
it's better.
What were you gonna say? You go ahead.
Actually, we can look at Hector.
Hector said, Dallas has a much easier schedule than most. And yes, I think Hector is right about that. If you look through their schedule, they got the Patriots, they got the Vikings, who are average. I know they're on the road, but they're average. Got Denver. They got the Falcons. They got at Kansas City. Even though they're not great, that's going to be a tough game. They got the Raiders. They got the Saints. That's even though they're not great. That could still be a tough game. They got the NFC East teams, Washington twice, the Giants, and the big game at the Cardinals. Yeah, this Dallas team could definitely be, with their schedule. I don't think they're as good as Arizona, any of the teams, Arizona or the Rams, but they could end up having a better record than those teams because of their schedule.
Yeah, absolutely, they could. Because like that NFC West those 4 teams is going to be a gauntlet. So they're going to beat each other up. So yeah, Dallas can kind of take advantage of playing those NFC East teams, and having the Falcons, having the Broncos, Raiders a home game. The Dallas could kind of sit there and be what, like 11-6-ish, somewhere around there, and have the number 3 seed, and kind of have home field there. So yeah, they probably don't beat one of the 2 NFC West teams that come out of the wild and take that one of the 3 wild card spots. You're probably gonna have to face one of those, one of those NFC West teams, which they, depending on who it is, they probably do not win that game. But yeah, they should take advantage. They should win at least 11 games that schedule.
Absolutely, and the thing is for the Giants, their schedule is definitely tougher than Dallas, because Dallas already got probably arguably their 2 toughest games out of the way for the first 2 weeks. The Bucks and the Chargers, they got those two games. They already played those 2 games. The Giants, they still got to play the Bucks, and they still got to play the Chargers. So the Cowboys got their 2 toughest games out of the way already.
Yeah, they have. The Bucks, Chargers. Panthers have been pretty good so far as well. So yeah, like the Giants, I know we'll talk about them in a minute, but they like the Giants right now. It's a gauntlet coming up, and it helped Dallas too that they finished third in that division too. So they're kind of playing like a 3rd place schedule for the most part as well. So which they should be able to take advantage of. Where the Giants finishing 2nd, it's been a lot tougher for them. So yeah, like the Cowboys, much easier schedule, having that kind of finishing 3rd last year. And yeah, having like the Broncos to face, the Falcons, Arizona's going to be a tough one. But yeah, and again, right now, like the NFC East right now, like they look far and away the best team so far in that division.
Without question. But now we got to get to the Giants, and a brutal game this week, especially with the guys they have out. I mean, they're probably more than likely not going to have Daniel Jones. They won't have Kenny Galladay. They won't have Saquon Barkley. They might not have Sterling Shepard. They might not have Andrew Thomas. They are limping into this game against a top team in the NFC and the Rams. And I feel like this is going to be a blowout. This is just talent wise. It's not going to be like the game in 2017 where the Giants quit against the Rams. This will be a game that the Giants just don't have the personnel to compete against a really good team in the Rams, a really good quarterback in Matthew Stafford, a really good coach in Sean McVay. I feel like the Rams are going to run the ball. They're going to do whatever they want on offense. They'll score in the 30s. I think the Giants are going to have a lot of trouble. I think Glenn's going to turn the ball over a couple of times. And I got the Rams big, 31-13 over the Giants. And Justin, I assume you got the same. The Rams winning big.
Yeah, I got the Rams 28-13. I think, John may keep it close and interesting for a bit, but this is a game they really need the defense to step up and play well. And I just don't really have the confidence right now. Again, 10-10, about to go to halftime last week. Dallas comes down the field, scores a late touchdown. They go 17-10, and that was it.
And this has happened every single game. Opening day, it happened. The Washington game, it happened. The Atlanta game, it happened. The New Orleans, even though they won the New Orleans game, it happened in the New Orleans game. Every single time this Giants defense has given up a touchdown before the half. And really a big reason why the Giants are struggling, I think a big reason why their defense hasn't even been close to as good this year. Obviously, they missed Blake Martinez the last 2 weeks because teams have ran the ball all over. They've gotten ran all over. They got destroyed on the ground. And then really Bradbury and Williams just haven't been – I still think Williams has been good, but he hasn't been as good. Bradbury hasn't been as good. This defense has just not been as good. Right now, it's a below-average defense, and there's no way it's going to make up for all the injuries they have on offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Bradbury got beat on that CeeDee Lamb kind of touchdown there last week, or that big play. So on that 101, yeah, like he just looks step slower, for whatever reason right now this year. Yeah, obviously losing Blake Martinez is really hurt. As you said, yeah, they just haven't been able to stop the run. Bradbury last year was one of the best shutdown corners in the league, and he's struggling right now, for whatever reason. So yeah, and actually the last thing the Giants do. So Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Galladay, Kadarius Toney have only been on the field 16 plays all year altogether, and that was I know I was excited to kind of see that as well, like what that offense to be able to do, but yeah, it just kind of just shows they haven't been healthy, and we haven't been able to see that full complement offense we thought we were going to see.
And the game they were all on the field, they won that game.
Yeah. So it shows, they're healthy.
No. I don't think they did, because I don't think Shepard didn't play in that game. I don't think any of those. I don't think none of those guys have been on the field. I don't think any. Oh no. I think they were on the field. It might have been the part of the Denver game and part of the Denver, Washington, and the first three games, because those guys were obviously they were all playing, but Barkley wasn't healthy and Toney was kind of used sparingly. So they were all on the field during those first three games, but yeah, it's just they just haven't been on the field together. You would like to see what this offense could be if they were all on the field, but unfortunately they're not on the field.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I know Giants is kind of supposed to kind of be the year to get back to the playoffs, and yeah, it just hasn't been able to pan out, and it's been tough. Like again, like the Barkley one, it's a free kind of injury, like again with the ankle, Shepard kind of hasn't, Galladay, I guess we all kind of knew that his problem's been kind of being able to stay healthy. It was nice to kind of see Toney have a big breakout game. I know the fight at the end is not great, but he looked like a star in the making, and he looks like he's going to be a good player. So you hope at some point they get him all back, but it's probably going to be too late though.
I like Toney. I think that was the lone bright spot from Sunday. I thought he played really well. The last 2 weeks, Toney has been really, really good. Darius Slayton's this is probably going to be Darius Slayton's last year with the Giants, because if the problem is they have to stay healthy, but they should be deep enough at receiver where they can just get rid of Darius Slayton. And then obviously that drop in Washington doesn't help him. But for all the injuries, I put this on Dave Gettleman. You signed Kenny Galladay knowing that he missed 10 games last year. You made that decision. You gave him $18 million. That's why he was not signed immediately in free agency, because he's not durable. Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team. And they could, and that number 2 slot, they very easily could have taken Josh Allen. And you've seen how well, I know the guy I wanted shouldn't have been the pick either, because he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. But Josh Allen was sitting right there. You could have taken him number 2 overall. So because Barkley's great, he can't stay healthy. Galladay can't stay healthy, and Daniel Jones, I'm sorry, the guy's not durable. I mean, the guy has played well this year, but he's not durable. And your best ability is availability. And Dave Gettleman at the key positions has taken as either signed guys in free agency and as drafted guys that cannot stay healthy. And here's Xander. I know you guys lost, but we handled our business. You did. The Cowboys last week. You guys did a good job. You guys did what you had to do last week. I know we had a lot of injuries, but I'll give you guys credit. You guys did what you had to do last week.
Yeah, definitely. It was a little bit sloppy in the first half, but the second half they kind of took advantage of everything going on with the Giants, and they took advantage and pretty much blew them out. And second most yardage in a regular season game for the Cowboys at 515 yards. So they were pretty good. So they did play really, really well. I see something.
And that's a good comment. Kenny Galladay to me is bust, looking like a move that's is a Kenny Galladay. Me, I don't totally understand the comment. I think what he says is okay. He clarified it there. Isn't working out? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think definitely, because it's just the injury history, and Gettleman handed this guy $18 million and didn't improve the offense. I know there weren't a lot of great old linemen out there, but he handed this guy $18 million and didn't improve the offensive line. You looked at Nate Soldier on Sunday; he was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, he was, and I know Thomas hasn't been healthy and he hasn't been great. And you look at the Bucs and Tristan Wirf's been unbelievable. It just No,
Thomas is that Justin Thomas has played well this year. To be fair, Thomas has played well this year. I'll give Gettleman that one. Yeah,
he's played better. I know, because Wirf has been unbelievable as well.
No,
But like Thomas has been banged up.
Yeah, he's banged up too. Wirtz has been more consistent, though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, Wirtz been more consistent out of the two. And you kind of go back as, I'll just mention quickly, to where kind of the chance of Giants had to build. Because at that time, the Bills and Giants were kind of at the same point of kind of rebuilding and all that. And you kind of look what the Bills have been able to do since that time.
Absolutely. And great comment by Sander right here. I really appreciate him listening. He's been great. He's been great the last couple of weeks. I keep saying that losing Blake Martinez is a huge loss for the defense, and he's 100% right about it, because the week after that happened, Kamara ran for 120, and last week Dallas did whatever they wanted on the ground. Great comment by Xander there. Blake Martinez lost, huge loss, especially in the run game. Huge loss for this team.
Yeah, because he's one of the best linebackers in football last year, and he had a huge breakout year. And it's been tough. The Cowboys ran for over 200, and with that dual threat of Elliott and Pollard, just they were not able to stop him. So yeah, it's such a huge loss. He was such a big impact last year of why the Giants' defense was so good. And nobody really saw it coming. He was just outstanding. One of the best in the game last year. So yeah, absolutely to lose a guy like that. It's been huge, as you said, to stop the run. They haven't been able to do that so far.
Absolutely. And go back to Xander's earlier point, as Joe Aguirre always likes to say, you got to play who you're going up against. And the Cowboys last week took care of business. Yes, the Giants had injuries, but they played who they went up against who was there. And then you got to give him credit for that. Another comment by Xander. Bradbury looking like he may have lost. Another great comment. We obviously discussed that earlier, but another great comment. Bradbury looked like he's lost a step. Absolutely great comment there. Another great comment by Xander there. Yeah, the biggest issues with the Giants defense is Williams. Williams hasn't been. I mean, he's still been good, but hasn't been as good. Martinez is out, and Bradbury has. He's just not been anywhere near as good. And the thing is Bradbury was not great in Carolina. He was above average to above average at best. Had a career year last year. I mean, all three of the guys. Martinez, Williams, and Bradbury, they all had career years. But seeing the flaws of Bradbury, having issues in man coverage, they've been shown this year, and the flaws of Leonard Williams, getting pressure but not being able to get sacks, they've shown this year. Last year, those two guys played at elite levels. This year, Williams has been playing well but not great, and Bradbury hasn't been close to playing at the level that he played at last year.
Yeah, they haven't. It's unfortunate, Bradbury, as I mentioned, was one of the best corners last year. He was unbelievable. Yeah, Williams had the big breakout year, got his contract in the offseason. Yeah, he really hasn't. Yeah, he's been in the backfield, but hasn't been able to get the sack numbers. So that's been tough. They really need those two right now to really step up and look like they were last year.
Xander, thanks so much for all the support, my man. Thanks for the support. You're welcome you're welcome anytime to comment on this show. You're outstanding. I mean, I watch and listen to you guys because you both don't show bias on your takes. You both understand and give credit where it is. So, and not bash your teams or players just because you don't like them. You guys are. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the support, Xander. We love the fact you're listening to us, and you continue to listen to us. Yes. Continue to listen to us, my man. I love the fact you're listening, my man. Thank you so much, Xander.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Really appreciate it. Keep listening. Thanks for the great comment.
But just to sum everything up with the Giants, they're just too banged up this week. They're too banged up to compete this week in this game. We were playing a top organization, a really good team in the Rams. As a Giants fan, I just can't see them competing in this game. I just can't.
Yeah, I just think it's just too tough. I'm like, maybe with the East Coast trip for the Rams, maybe they keep it close early, the Giants. But yeah, I just see by the second half, I think the Rams going to pull away and win by at least 2 scores.
All right, we're going to stay in the NFCs, talk about the Thursday night game as Tom Brady and the Buccaneers travel up to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. And the Eagles got a big win last week. They got their second straight win. I think this game is going to be closer than people think because of Brady's injury. I think Brady's injury is going to play a factor in this game. I think he's going to have a turnover. I think he's going to have a turnover in this game. But I do think the Buccaneers the last couple of weeks have gotten their running game going. I still think they're going to run the ball. I don't like the Eagles defense. I think they play this 2-deep zone. I can't stand this Eagles defense. And Jonathan Gannon is so stubborn. He won't put a safety in the box. I'll be texting you last night. I'll be counting the amount of times the Eagles put that safety in the box because they're not going to do it. They're not going to put that safety in the box. I feel like that Tampa Bay is going to have success running the ball, but I do think they force a turnover from Brady. I don't think Brady plays his best game tomorrow night because he's banged up. And I do think Jalen Hurts has a turnover, but I think he has a decent game. He's played well the last couple of weeks. I think he has a decent game. tomorrow to keep the Eagles in the game. But I think the difference is the Bucs are going to get in the red zone. They're going to get touchdowns. The Eagles are going to kick field goals. And that's why I got Tampa Bay winning it, going to 5-1. I got the Bucs beating the Eagles 27-19. But Justin, can the Eagles defense get pressure on Tom Brady? And can Jalen Hurts do enough for the Eagles to get their second straight win?
I think very possible. On a Thursday night, it's always such a weird one, but I have the Bucs though prevailing this one 27-24. I think the way to kind of get to Brady is kind of that interior line, defensive line. And I think, Fletcher Cox could be able to do that. And I think, Brady's injury hasn't, obviously he'll play and all that. Brady doesn't miss any time, but I think, the Eagles can do enough in this game. Keep it close. Jalen Hurts, he's been playing well. They took advantage last week against some Carolina miscues. But I think the Tampa Bay does enough on offense. I think it's just too much of this Dallas defense. I think they could give up some big plays, as you mentioned, with the way their defense is, like Dallas did. Dallas hit some big shots on them. I think Brady could be able to do that in this game as well. So I think the Eagles keep it close, though. But I think Hurts plays well. I think he could have a big day in the air, but I think they're going to they're going to struggle being able to run the ball.
Yeah, it is. We'll see what happens on Thursday in Philly, and we got to respond to Xander. You guys going to talk Dallas, New England? We talked Dallas. Before you came on, literally right before you came on, we talked Dallas, New England for a while. So, I mean, I think, and we'll talk about that game 30-20 for Xander. We'll talk about it 30-20 Dallas. And my biggest takeaway, I'll have you go quickly, Justin. Just the talent level on the field. That's why I got Dallas winning that game. And obviously, Justin,
I do
got the opposite.
I do have my Patriots getting the upset. I think Bill's team's up something to try to slow down the full weapons that the Cowboys have. Not having Elliott. I know they saw Pollard. Pollard's a great one. Pollard's another really good running back they have. But I think Mac Jones makes enough plays through the air. I'm hoping Josh McDaniels stops being so conservative in the red zone. And I think the Patriots find a way at home to get the win, 27-23.
And obviously the Kyrie Irving situation, and Jason said it's coming up, my man. So hang tight there. And then we got another comment about the Kyrie Irving situation, but we got to get into our best bets. And again, for Xander, one of my best bets this week is Dallas over New England. Plus, it's 3.5. I think it's -3.5. I think the line changed, went down to half a point. Good news for the Patriots there. I got Dallas just because they have the more talented team. My second one is Miami against the Jaguars. I feel like the Jaguars are a mess. I know Miami's -3.5, but I still think they cover that. Even though they're 1-4, I feel like they cover that. I think they're able to, run the ball with Myles Gaskin. I think that Jacoby Brissett, even though Tua doesn't come back, I think Brissett will play well enough. I think the defense will force a turnover too from Trevor Lawrence. That's why I got the Dolphins -3.5. And then my other one is the Chargers +3. And I'm really looking forward to that one. This Chargers Chiefs Ravens game is going to be great with these two quarterbacks. I think it's going to be up and down the field, but I feel like Justin Herbert is going to make a little bit more plays than Lamar Jackson. I think it's going to be up and down the field. I got the Chargers winning that 27-24. That's one of my best bets. Justin, your best bets.
My best bets this week, I have the Cleveland Browns knocking off at 2.5, knocking off the Arizona Cardinals. I know Chandler Jones may not play. I think Baker Mayfield makes enough plays against this team. I think they run the ball, keep Kyler Murray off the field. And I'm going to take the Browns and knock off the Arizona Cardinals this week. I think the Browns defense plays a lot better than it did on Sunday against the Chargers. I had the Patriots getting this one. I do really think that the Patriots find a way to win this game. I've talked about it, so I'll just say I got the Pats at +4. And then I got the Packers going at Chicago at 4.5. I know this game's usually close, but the Packers blew them out twice last year. I didn't think the Bears played that well against the Raiders last week. They didn't have Hakeem Nicks. He may not play again this week for the Bears. So I think Aaron Rodgers can have a big day in the air. And I think the Packers do win this game by at least a touchdown in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there. But we got to get into our picks this week, and we start with the Chiefs and Washington. The Chiefs head to Washington to face the Washington football team. And I feel like I know the Washington, the defense for the defensive line for Washington played a lot better last week. They got pressure on Jameis Winston, and I think they will do the same thing this week. But I just don't feel like it's going to matter because I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have a big week. He's going to throw at least 3 or 4 touchdown passes against this back seven, which is really, really struggle for Washington. I feel like Hill's going to have a big day. Kelsey's going to have a big day. I know they're going to be without Edwards-Helaire, but I don't think it's going to matter. I do think Washington moves the ball a little bit with Taylor Heineke. I feel like Gibson will have a pretty good day in the ground. But at the end of the day, I feel like Mahomes is obviously going to make more plays and less mistakes than Taylor Heineke. And that's why I got Kansas City beating the Washington football team 34-24. But, Justin, can Kansas City's defensive front contain Mahomes, and can Heineke make enough plays for the Washington football team to pull the upset?
I don't think so. I haven't really liked that. I think Washington's pass rush has been a little bit better the last few weeks. But, again, I just don't think they get enough. And I just think the secondary is going to get torched. I think they're going to pick the part in whatever they try to do. They have not been great, and the defense too. I think that they should be better in what they're doing again. They have one of the best pass rush. Sweat's been really good. I know Chase Young still has 2 sacks, I believe, right now. So I think Washington gets some pressure. I just don't think it's enough. I just don't think this secondary is good enough to slow down Kansas City at all. And I think this would be a long day for Washington. I think they do score some points for Heineke just because Kansas City's not very good in the secondary as well, but I don't see Mahomes making too many mistakes in this game, and I think the Chiefs win this thing 34-28.
The Pack got a big matchup in the NFC North. Justin, it was one of your best bets. You had the Packers minus 4.5. For me, though, in this game, I feel like this is going to be a close, competitive game. But as you even said, we were talking about the Raiders. The Bears were lucky last week; they were playing a team that was not there. But the Raiders, I feel like that the Raiders were very out of sorts last week because of the Gruden situation. I feel like they were out of sorts last week, and I think that this is going to be a close, competitive game. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Packers, and I got the Packers winning it 24-20 because I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to make enough plays. I feel like Fields is going to make a mistake or two. I got the Packers beating the Bears 24-20 in Chicago. And Justin, that was one of your best bets. So, and we talked about that. So we'll go on to the next game. We got the Chargers heading to Baltimore to face the Ravens. I think this is going to be a really, really fun game. It was one of my best bets. I think this game is going to be back and forth between these two teams. I think the Ravens are going to run the ball really well. I think Herbert's going to have a big day. But as I said in my best bets, I got the Chargers winning this game outright. I got them winning at 27-24. But, Justin, can Lamar Jackson outduel Justin Herbert for the Ravens to get their 4th straight win?
I think they will. I know Ravens really didn't play well for the first 3 quarters of that game. They were down 19. They got some help with the Colts, kind of couple fumbles there in the red zone. But I like the way that they're kind of using Lamar this year. He's been able to take some shots on the field, and it's been paying off with his arm this year. And I think on the run game too, I just don't think Baltimore or I just don't think the Chargers will be able to slow down the run game. I think Lamar's going to have a big day in the air. I think he will on the ground as well. And Sanders' comment, Herbert versus Lamar, the 2 MVP candidates so far, both these quarterbacks have been playing really, really well. And I think in total yards, right now, Lamar would rank within team-wise, he's better than 14 other teams total, all the yards that Lamar's been racking up himself. So I feel like Lamar's going to have a big day, doing whatever he can. I think Baltimore does win this game 27-23.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a great comment by Xander. 2 MVP. They are 2 MVP candidates because you've looked at Justin Herbert. That Chargers defense, it's been good, but they've been really bad against the run. They haven't been a great defense. Herbert, week 3 able to keep up with Patrick Mahomes, and then last week so impressive keeping up with that Cleveland Browns offense. He was against that's a top 10 defense with the Browns. The way Herbert played last week, he was awesome. And here we go. If the Lamar we saw last week is the Lamar we see, watch out. Oh, yeah. I mean, the way last week, what he did, and everyone's got to stop with the whole criticisms of, he can't play from behind. He has proven this year that he can play from behind. He's had 2 huge comebacks in prime time. That game against the Chiefs, the game last week against the Colts. I mean, he was outstanding at the end of that game Monday night. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely watch out because right now he is an elite quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. His arm is right now, the way they're using him with his arm now, it just makes him so much more dangerous. And, the running direct he gives you. Oh, yeah, with the weapons, Marquise Brown, drop pass have been an issue for him. If they can get Rashard Bateman on the field soon, I think he's made another really good wide receiver at this level, the NFL level. So like I think as once like they start to get more weapons for him, they could get another running back. It is like this Ravens offense would be really, really scary. Especially with Lamar Jackson at the head of it. They definitely have a shot still to compete with all their injuries. They still have a really good chance of, I think, in like the AFC Championship game.
Oh, without question. I mean, both these teams have a really good shot. These are Super Bowl contenders. Both of them have proved because of their quarterbacks that they're Super Bowl contenders.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I thought Chargers were still another year or two away, but it really hasn't looked like it. Justin Herbert he's taking another step forward, and they go up against that Cleveland's defense last week and put up like 49 points against them. That is impressive the way, and he just kept going on the field every time, answering the bell. So that was impressive by Herbert, and he's been unbelievable. They're absolutely both Super Bowl contenders.
Without question. We skipped over this game because it was one of my best bets, but we got the game in London this week as the Dolphins traveled to London to face the Jaguars, and I do think the game's going to be a close, competitive game. I do think that the Dolphins win it, but I think it's going to be a close, competitive game. I got the Dolphins winning 23-16. It was one of my best bets that they were going to cover. But Justin, can Trevor Lawrence avoid turning the ball over for the Jaguars to get their first win?
He's got to be able to do it. I have the Dolphins win this one 24-23. I think the Jaguars do keep it close in this game. I think they'll end up covering. But the Dolphins, they only have 2 interceptions. It's something like last year where they had, Xavier Howard had 9 or 10 on the year. Like, Miami was great. They haven't been able to force the takeaways. They haven't, they got the one against the Patriots that sealed that game on the Damian Harris fumble, but they really haven't been able to get that big turnover. Now it's hurt that, Tua hasn't been there, hasn't been the starting quarterback so far, but I think Lawrence makes enough plays to keep his team into it. He may make a mistake or two. But I think, 20 straight losses to the Jaguars. I think the good opportunity to get a win in this one, but I think, the Dolphins just do enough defensively to get the win over Jacksonville.
And you got another comment from Xander. He said, I wanted to say the Browns defense, for how great they are, gave up 1 million points to a high-powered offense. Dallas held them to under 20. Cowboys better D than better than most think. Already have more they forced turnovers. I mean, but in that game against the Chargers, the Chargers still drove for over 300 yards in that. They still had Herbert also had over 300 passing yards, and I feel like personally that was Herbert by far his worst game of the season. So I think the Cowboys defense has improved. I just looking at the personnel, it's not as good as the Browns, because you look at the Browns personnel. I mean, Myles Garrett's a stud. I mean, you got Jadeveon Clowney. Obviously, in the back end, you got Denzel Ward, and you got John Johnson. You got the rookie from Notre Dame who's playing well. I think I would give the Browns the edge defensively if I had to pick.
Yeah, I still think the Browns. They just have so many. I think Micah Parsons is going to be a phenomenal. Defensive player at this level. I think he'd be really, really good. Like in that game against the Chargers, like the Chargers were 1-4 in the red zone too. They had like the 3 illegal shit penalties that one possession down there. Like I think the Chargers, were able to move the ball. The Cowboys are definitely better. They're and Dan Quinn's doing a really nice job, and I'm very interested to see how they keep improving throughout the season, because they're going to. And that the young talent's doing really well. So I think it's, such a great sign for the young talent Dallas has on that end, or, on the defensive end, that they're playing at this high level so far, and they keep developing like they should. Dallas is definitely getting better on that defensive side of the ball. But Cleveland right now just has too many stars. But definitely Dallas is definitely one of the most improved defenses in the league so far.
Oh, absolutely. And then, and they said we'll bring it up when we get to that game. Yes. So we'll look at we got the Vikings traveling down to Carolina to face the Panthers this week, and I think this is going to be an interesting game. I think these two teams are going to be really, really, I think it's going to be close. It's going to be competitive. But I feel like the Panthers are going to have Christian McCaffrey back next week. They're going to have success on the ground. I feel like Sam Darnold will have a bounce back week. He'll have a good week against the Vikings. I do think the Vikings are going to move the ball, but I'm going to go with the better defense in this game. I think that's what makes a difference. I got the Vikings. I got the Panthers beating the Vikings 27-24, but Justin, can Cook, Cousins, and Jefferson carry the Vikings to their second straight win?
It's possible, but I have Carolina as well win this game 24-21. I think, Cousins has been playing really well this year. That running game, even without Madison's been really, really good when Cook's been out. Carolina's been unbelievable on third down. They're only giving it up 25% of the time. Minnesota's got to get third is convert third down. They get third is short. They got to protect the quarterback because Carolina's been really good at getting after the quarterback. But I think Carolina's defense is going to be a little bit too much for Kirk Cousins in this Carolina team. Carolina should have won last week. That block punt, kind of turned it all around. Donovan played great. I think Cousins is going to make some plays, but especially against this young secondary who has played well. But I think Carolina makes enough plays in this game to win it 24-21.
The Bengals, we got another comment before we get to that. Cool is most likely Madison might going to Cool Cook is out is most likely. Okay, good. Right. Thanks for correcting us. So, yeah, but even if Madison plays, I still feel like he's going to have a decent game because Madison's a pretty good backup.
Yeah, he's been playing really, really well. Both games he's been over 100 yards the last few weeks. So yeah, it's great to, I think in the NFL you need like two running backs nowadays to with all the injuries, running backs have. It's important to have those two backs. So yeah, Madison's been really good as well. So Carolina will still win this game.
Got the Bengals traveling to Detroit to face the Lions this week. And I think the Lions have played hard, but they just got too many injuries on that offensive line. Ragnall's now out for the season. Taylor Deckert is still on IR. And I feel like the Bengals front four is going to get pressure on Jared Goff, force a turnover or two. And I feel like the Bengals are going to be able to – I think the Lions will play hard, stay in the game for the first half, but I think the Bengals eventually take over in the second half. That's why I got the Bengals beating the Lions 24-13. But, Justin, we know that Dan Campbell has this Lions team playing hard. Can they continue to do that and get their first win?
I think they play hard. I don't think they win it. I got the Bengals win the same 27-21. I think the Bengals are going to play a lot of close games like they did last week where it just kind of comes down, something fluky, weird, kind of odd situations. I think you're going to see that a lot from the Bengals. Again, for the Lions, it's been absolutely heartbreaking. At one point, too, what does it start, affecting the Lions, too, mentally, But I think they continue to play hard. I think Joe Burrow's going to make some plays. I think, Jared Goff will as well. I think Swift could have a decent day on the ground. Bengals defense are playing well. I think Detroit's going to keep this thing interesting. I really do. I think they play hard. I just think Joe Burrow just makes too many, makes more plays than Jared Goff does in the passing game. And the Bengals find a way to get out of the game with a win.
We have a AFC South matchup in Indianapolis as the Colts face the Texans, two 1-4 teams. But I think the 1-4 team with much more talent is going to win this game by a couple scores. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be able to run the ball. I think Carson Wentz makes mistake free. I think that the Colts defense forced a turnover from Davis Mills, and I got the Colts 27-13 over the Texans. And Justin, I feel like you got the same.
Yeah, I got 24-17. I got the Colts win this one. I think the Texans are going to keep it close. Texans just shot themselves in the foot too many times. I think the Colts, after a heartbreaking loss, they pretty much blew that game. I think, I think they keep the Texans around in this game. But I feel like Wentz makes enough plays over Davis Mills, and the Colts find a way to win the game.
And we got a comment from Xander. We got a guy. Dan Campbell has Lions fans wanting them to hire DC for a long time contract with the way they played with the way they played under him. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he's going to be the guy. Beginning, I think the way it's looked, the way they played, it looks like he's going to be the guy. But we'll see going forward if he's going to be the guy. But we got to continue to go on to the games, and we got a huge game in Cleveland as the Cardinals with Kyler. We got a matchup of two former Oklahoma quarterbacks as Baker Mayfield and the Browns host Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, and I think this is going to be a close competitive game. late game, expect to be a little bit windy in Cleveland. And that's why I got the Browns winning this game. I feel like they're going to be able to control the run game. One of the biggest weaknesses of the Cardinals is their run defense. So I think the Browns definitely run for over 100 yards. I feel like Murray plays well, but I feel like he turns the ball over once in this game, and I think that makes a difference. I think Baker Mayfield, even though he's not the better quarterback, I feel like he has the better running game, and I feel like he's the quarterback who's going to make less mistakes in this game. So that's why I got the Browns beating the Cardinals 27-20. And Justin, this was one of your best bets, as you had the Browns covering in this game over the Cardinals.
Yeah, I do. I do have the Browns win the game 28-23. The last time I clicked Kingsbury team, I started 5-0. It was first year at Texas Tech. The starting quarterback of that team was Baker Mayfield, the walk-on. So, and Baker was supposed to get a scholarship at the end of the year, and Cliff never gave it to him. So, some hard feeling here for Baker. So, I think he plays well. I think he beats his former coach. And I think they get the win 28-23. I think they play well. I think they get the running game going. And I think they do enough to keep Kyler Murray off the field, just enough to win this game.
We got the rematch of Super Bowl 40 as we got the Seahawks traveling to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. And I think in this game, I feel like the Steelers are starting to find an identity last week, and that's running the ball with Najee Harris. I feel like their offensive line has improved. It wasn't bad against the Packers, and it was good last week against the Broncos. I feel like that lessens the load off Big Ben, so Big Ben really can only manage the game. I feel like Big Ben, that's all he has to do this week is manage the game. I feel like the run game and the defense will do enough for the Steelers to win the game, because I feel like the defense will force a turnover. Even though Geno Smith looked good last week, I feel like the Steelers defense is going to force a turnover from Geno Smith. And that's why I got the Steelers going to 3-3. I got the Steelers beating the Seahawks 20-13. But Justin, can Geno Smith make enough plays for the Seahawks to pull the upset?
It's going to be tough against a very good Steelers defense. Geno, looked pretty good when he came in a tough spot. Kept the team competitive for a while. Weren't able to pull out the win there, but I think the Steelers do enough defensively in this game to kind of, do enough defensively. I think they slow him down enough. Cook, got some weapons, in Metcalf. Probably no Chris Carson, so but Alex Hahn's a decent back as well that they have. So I think the Steelers are going to be able to do enough. They're going to create a couple of turnovers, make some short fields for Ben Roethlisberger and that offense. Do enough to win this game. I think their defense plays well, and I think we'll see how Geno looks and out the full week, and Pittsburgh's able to kind of prep for him for a full week. But I get the Steelers win this one 21-20.
And Xander put a comment: if Baker wins this Sunday, he'll be extended by Cleveland next day. I wouldn't say the next day. I think Cleveland's waiting for the end of the year. They're seeing how this year ends up, but they're not going to extend him the next day. I think Cleveland's just waiting to see how this year ends up.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially if he can lead on the Super Bowl, 100%. They'll give him what he wants, but it'll be a big win for him. To knock off the undefeated Cardinals. I think be a really nice statement one for Cleveland.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But we got to get to the Monday night game, and that's between the Bills and the Titans. I mean, the Titans are a good team, but they're not the Bills. The Bills defense, and I think the biggest reason why the Bills are clearly the best team in the AFC and arguably the best team in football is because of the improvement of this defense. They drafted the kid from Miami, the defensive end from Miami. Ed Oliver has improved. Jerry Hughes has been good. Their secondary is really good with Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, and Tre'Davious White. Good at linebacker with Tremaine Edwards. Their defense is top 10, arguably top 5. They contained Patrick Mahomes last week. I think they're going to do the same thing with the Titans offense. And I think offensively, I think they're going to be able to, run the ball with I think Josh Allen's going to have a big week. They're going to be able to run the ball with Singletary and Moss. I think Josh Allen's going to have a good week. And I got the Bills going to 5-1, winning 31-20 over the Titans. But Justin, can Derrick Henry have a huge game and keep the Bills offense off the field for the Titans to pull the upset?
I think it'd be tough. I got the Bills win this game 31-24. Last year on 19 carries, Derrick Henry only 57 yards. I know the Titans blew them out, but it was like the turnovers really affected the Bills last year. It wasn't Monday, right? It was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday game because of COVID. Okay. It got moved. Yes, okay, I do remember that now. Yes, it was one of those the Tuesday games. But the Bills, defensively have been great, stopping the run. That the addition too, like you mentioned, Oliver, and then star Luata as well. Like just another
Latulier. He opted out last year. that is a good run stuffer in the middle. That's an addition that no one really saw as being an addition, as being that was a guy coming back that no one really talked about. That was a good addition. That was a really, really good. That was good for him to come back to the Bills.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's been great in stuff in the run this year. So yeah, I think the Bills kind of do enough with him. I think they slow down Henry enough. I think he'll more than 57 yards. And actually, we'll look at this.
And we got two comments. The reason Josh Allen says numbers don't look good is because they steamroll teams. Yeah, great comment there. Yeah, they're winning the game. He doesn't need to throw for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. He can really just throw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and win the games because they've, as Xander's comment has been the only team in the NFL right now with not 1 but 2 shutouts, and they shut out the Dolphins and they shut out at the Texans. And yeah, those weren't great offenses, but as our man Joe Aguirre always says, you got to play you're going up against, and the Bills carried that over to Sunday night when they contained the Chiefs' offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Allen hasn't there hasn't been a ton on his shoulders yet. Last week again, they absolutely blew him out. They didn't really need to have to make some big plays in the second half there. He's done what he's had to do, and since that week 1 game, they've really put, even though week 1 he played pretty well, but they since week 1 this offense has really kind of got it clicking, and they're playing well. He's done what he's had to do, and I think it's really helped the Bills too that they've really gotten that running game going, because it just brings that different element, and they couldn't really do that last year, and I think it's also taking some weight off of Josh Allen's shoulders. So yeah, and for the Bills, the 2 shutouts, yeah, obviously as you mentioned, it's not great offenses, but still to get a shutout in 2021 with the offenses, just how progressive the offense has been, it's still impressive. So, and Sanders' comment, adding Emmanuel Sanders as well, and Diggs absolutely.
Oh yeah. Diggs last year was the trade I feel like that turned that team around. That Stephon Diggs trade turned the team around, and then adding Emmanuel Sanders added depth to that receiving core. Yeah, and yes, it helped at the vertical, but absolutely did.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they burnt the Chiefs, and, this comment here, it's crazy they didn't give up.
It's crazy that they didn't give a field goal. That's hard. Yeah. As we've said with that defense. Yeah. They played bad teams when they shut them out. They were bad offenses because Tua was hurt and the Texans offense is terrible. But again, in 2021, if you could shut out anyone you could shut out in the NFL with the way the rules are, that's a big accomplishment to have 2 shutouts. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Did not give up. Because not to give up a drive where it's like, okay, they're kind of opponents in field goal territory. It didn't really happen those 2 games. So yeah, it's been crazy what the Bills have been able to get the 2 shutouts so far, and they're going to face another really good offense. But the way the defense is playing, I feel like they do enough to shut them down. It's this defense is really, really improved, and they have the easy schedule left in the NFL, so they could really go 14-3 here. Win this AFC. Then had they're right now the clear shot right now to host right now with their schedule.
Absolutely. So that's going to wrap it up with the NFL. But we got a key player that the Nets might not have this year in the NBA. But before we talk about that, we got a promo from Clovercrest Media.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All 4 Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside flooding those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program, because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free. Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but you don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies, doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
High fly ball, right field. Grossman back, trap, wall, see ya, into the second deck. A grand slam the other way for Aaron Judge, and the Yankees are pouring it on.
For the latest news throughout the sports world, tune in to Sports Talk with R&J every Wednesday at 1 p.m.
Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast, Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, roll floated to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, Devil Woman. But speaking of those Lakers, but I hold on. But I didn't make my. I didn't make. I said Denver's gonna win.
Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that.
Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drawing About the G-Men. Didn't put together a special intro because it was a disappointing week for the Giants, not only on the field. I mean, not only just the score and the loss itself, the loss of Saquon, Danny Galladay, Daniel Jones, already didn't have Shep. It's just everywhere. Everyone's gone. Everyone's getting hurt. And I mean, you can't be too upset with the loss because it was 10-10 and then Daniel Jones got hurt and then everything spiraled out of control. So, I mean, they were competitive when Daniel Jones was in there, but I mean, I don't know. There's not a lot to take away when half your team's injured. But what do you think of the game, Joe?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was to the point of ridiculous. Kenny Galladay obviously also knocked out of this one, killed me in one of my fantasy leagues, so that was great. That ridiculous throw to Saquon where he sprained his ankle, I mean, the whole thing was regrettable. Daniel Jones, I don't know. I love when he scrambles. I hate the end of all of his scrambles. I mean, he's like an idiot. Can they practice him ending a scramble where he doesn't either fumble or get his head knocked in? Can this guy slide? How hard is that?
He can't slide in that situation. He has to go head first. You niche down. He slide. You lose yards if he slides.
He can't. He can.
From the 1 yard line, he loses yards. You're rolling out. It's
not worth it. Not worth it. Giants aren't a good enough team to lose their starting quarterback, and I think Daniel Jones needs to recognize how important he is to being there. We joked a lot about Mike Glennon last year. He's terrible. He's a terrible quarterback. The idea the Giants went into this season with that guy as their backup after the disaster that was Colt McCoy last year. Why? Why?
No.
There's better guys out there. There's better guys out there that could hold your clipboard and jump in that might want an opportunity to resurrect a career. There's guys out there that are way better than Mike Glennon. This team's in big trouble. Daniel Jones might play this week. We saw injured Daniel Jones last year. Awful. I don't want Saquon back there as a half-hearted decoy. Useless.
No.
I don't know what this team's in big trouble. Like I said last week, I got a feeling that Bears pick is going to be a 20s. And our pick's going to be the top 5. This team's in big trouble right now. They really got to get it together. I mean, still they can't complete a pass or convert on third down. They play like a bad team on third down. And when they're on defense, they're a bad team on third down. They don't convert and they can't stop people on third down. That's why you're 1-5. And that's why it's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed the injuries. I mean,
and the Blake Martinez thing is so huge. I mean, my goodness. You know, I was talking on Keys to the City on Monday about Trey Crowder and Ragland. I mean, they looked confused a couple of times out there. They looked confused, and I give Trey Crowder a lot of credit for going in there and calling that defense, but there was a couple of times where, I don't know, he looked like he was a little bit lost, and it resulted in big plays. That's a big, giant loss for them. I mean, not only is Blake Martinez the leader of this defense, and one of the best middle linebackers in the league, and that's a huge loss. You take Saquon, Galladay, Jones, Kadarius Toney apparently is a little banged up too. None of those guys play. You're
the entire offense.
What chance do you have? And here's the worst part: offensive line's playing pretty great.
Yeah,
they're getting the job done. No sacks again,
even without Andrew Thomas, which was wild. But I do think one under the radar miss for the Giants. Jabril Peppers getting injured. I think that's a lot bigger, and a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about it because he was a captain of that defense. I think once he gets healthy, he might be able to change some stuff. But yeah, the Blake Martinez one was big. It's just all about getting healthy now, and right now, especially with the 1-4 start, I mean, this is a tank for Tibbs time, in my opinion. But
oh my god,
it's just hard, Zay.
You guys kill me with this every year. Here we go again. Do you realize last year we were in the same position, in the same game, at the same point in the season? I hate to break this to you, and we still ended up turning it around and almost winning the division. And Joe sounded just as funeralistic last year as he did this year. Come on, people, pay attention. The Giants aren't that bad. I'm more worried about the Cowboys, if anything. You're talking about Mike Glennon. They came in, and he looked like he is a crappy quarterback. And guess what? He was still able to move the ball down the field. He was still able to put the Giants in positions to score a couple of times, and they probably missed a couple of opportunities, which he obviously threw the interception a little early. That could have been another scoring drive. He got down there again. You had the issue where they had the 3-and-out, and then they had the touchdown that one last drive. So it could have been, if Daniel Jones had stayed in the game, I agree with you, Jace. It could have been a game like it was. But Mike Glennon becoming in there and showing that we still have something with all these injured players, I'm not too worried about the Giants at all. Like I said, the defense was junk last year until this week, and then all of a sudden they flipped the switch and became a top 10 defense in the league. So these things happen. It takes time. My biggest fear is if the Giants season continues this way and they decide to part ways with Joe Judge, they're not going to look far for their next coach. He's sitting in the room with them. I know you guys disagree with me, but the Giants will put Jason Garrett as head coach. You can make that face all you want. They will do it. And
No, they won't.
Turn position in the beginning, and then they will move him into it and use it as an excuse to save money and get places, fill positions elsewhere. We've seen Gettleman do it before, and this is just the same thing going to happen all over again. Pay attention to what's going on. If the Giants don't turn this around, that will be Jason Garrett's team. That's the biggest fear. But I do have belief the Giants will turn it around. I overtalked and said they win by 2 touchdowns last week. I was going off of the hype, but that's what you're supposed to do as a Giants fan. But again, pray they turn it around.
If Joe Judge gets fired, though, Gettleman's out the door too. It's not going to be his decision.
I'm not too sure on that neither. Again, you're talking about Gettleman really hasn't brought terrible talent to this team. It hasn't been a talent issue with the team. It's been keeping talent on the field for the most part, but it hasn't been a talent issue. He's brought pretty good talent to the team. Even when he brought over Williams, nobody wanted him last year. He ended up being one of the best linemen we have. So he's not going anywhere. He brings talent. You're more worried about the Cowboys.
Explain what that means.
I'm more worried for the Cowboys.
Yeah, their record to show for it is terrible.
If the Giants could bring in a second unit and score on the Cowboys, who's supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team, no, you're not. You're not a Super Bowl contending team when our garbage can go out there and still basically compete and still play a game with you. That's what scares me. And I've always said the Cowboys are always going to fall off a cliff like they always do. They're the best team in a worse division. They haven't won a championship in 30 years, and it's going to continue to keep going down that same path. So I'm not too worried about the Cowboys. They will fall off this cliff. I'm more worried about the Cowboys, like I said, than the Giants. We've seen the Giants numerous times. Slow starts, find a way to come in the middle, and then that's when they get to the point where either they're going to push it through or they're going to fall off. And that's always been the Giants. But as far as the Cowboys, I'm waiting for the cliff to fall off. It's coming. I'm waiting for the cliff they're going to fall off. I'm telling you it's coming.
This is different. Dak's here all year long. They're going to be a contender. I think they're just pulling away. I wish I want to be with you, Zay. I want to.
Bro,
I don't like
I'm going
the
off
Cowboys.
history and facts. Since 1995, they haven't shown me that it's ever going to change. They haven't shown me that. So
okay,
I'm going to continue to go over that.
All right. That's 1995. We're in 2021 now.
What does that
Welcoming on Trevor Keys. Now, Trevor, who's going to get fired first? Jason Garrett or Joe Judge?
Well, Joe Judge, I don't think Joe Judge is going to get fired. Look, what happened on Sunday is just – it's unfortunate. Like, you can't blame Jason Garrett. You can't blame Joe Judge for Saquon Barkley going down or Daniel Jones having a concussion or Kenny Galladay getting hurt. Like, that was just – you knew the game was over. It was just you take the loss and you move on from it and you learn from it and you try to do whatever you can to survive right now. The Giants are in a tough situation. The schedule's not getting any better, and you just lost your 3 top weapons. I don't expect Jones to play this week, and I wouldn't bring him back yet. Saquon's going to be out for at least a month or so. Galladay might be out for a couple weeks. And your left tackle, who's been playing at an all-pro level, was out too. So it was I guess it was a demise from the start for the Giants. So I'm not blaming Joe Judge. I'm not blaming Jason Garrett for Sunday. Dallas is just in another level right now. They should run away in the NFC East. And feels like a different team. I know, look, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. I root for Russia over the Dallas Cowboys. But this team seems and that's serious. I hate everything about the Dallas Cowboys, but they are legit. They are a legit team. Dak looks like he hasn't missed a beat. Zeke, they're getting that running attack going. And when that running attack is lethal with Tony Pollard and him, that's a scary combination. And we've seen it before in the past. The reason why I would say they have a legit chance too, yes, their defense isn't like outstanding, but it's vastly improved. You got studs in the back end of that defense led by Trayvon Diggs, who looks like a legit bona fide star for the next 10 to 12 years as corner. Micah Parsons, boy.
They repeated it. Oh, Lord. All right.
Go ahead. I'm waiting.
I thought they were beating Diggs beating him like a drum on routes. He was beating Diggs. Come on.
Okay, congratulations. That's great. But he's
terrible. All right.
So you still
got a nose for the ball.
He's leading the league in interceptions.
So you're still not. You don't give him any credit.
He's leading interceptions. Okay, he got a couple of balls thrown his way early. That's okay. It doesn't mean
okay, Zay, what nonsense are you going to spew this week? Because we should have a segment called Zay's Nonsense.
He's not. Y'all throwing him up there like he's some. Okay, all right.
I'm not saying
nothing. In December, when the Cowboys fall off that cliff, come back on the show. Then I'll go on what I mean.
Guess what? They're still going to win the NFC East comfortably.
I can't even say that. I can never say any team can win the NFC comfortably. I'll never say that any team can win the NFC East comfortably.
I didn't say the NFC.
I will never the NFC East. I will never say any team can win that.
Who do you think is going to contend with the Cowboys?
Please tell me. Enlighten me.
Bro, again, this division is funny like that. You don't know it till the end. I swear I thought the Giants were going to run away with the division last year. I swear I thought the Giants were going to run away with the division last year. The Redskins weren't that great. The Cowboys didn't have anybody, and the Eagles were
the Redskins.
Excuse me, the Washington football team, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying?
Down, Gruden.
I swear I thought the Giants were going to run away with the division. Like, it's not going to happen. This division doesn't do that. This division is tricky. It plays games on us.
Then who's gonna be that one to knock them off? Then
I want to ask a question. Who's Anthony Price? Cowboys never really played anybody good. They beat the LA Chargers. They played they should have beat the Buccaneers in week 1 if their kicker makes an extra point or a field goal. I mean, they were the better team against the Buccaneers. They should be realistically 6-0 right now.
Just like the Chiefs, the Buccaneers haven't looked that impressive. Yeah, they're 6-0, but they haven't looked impressive.
Anthony Price, I don't know what you're watching either then, because they've beaten some solid opponents so far early on in the season.
Yeah, I feel like you're just saying every team in the NFL isn't impressive, Zay.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said they're 6-0. I said they don't look impressive, just like the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't look impressive. The Chiefs are.
I agree with that one.
They don't look impressive.
I wouldn't say the Bucs or Cowboys don't look impressive.
In my opinion, but they're still the Chiefs are still up there as a contender.
You probably think the Broncos are impressive, right? Because Teddy Bridgewater is there.
I don't. I said it in the beginning. I don't. But I did think Teddy Bridgewater could take them to the playoffs. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, but I do believe he's a solid enough quarterback to take them to the playoffs.
So who do you think?
And by the way, that's his best bet and his lock of the week.
Yeah,
Teddy and the Broncos. I'm just playing.
I'm saying what?
No, I'm just playing. Say no. Listen.
Who has been? Hold on. I want to ask Zay. Who has been impressive to you then?
This year?
No, 2 years ago.
I mean, Jameis Winston has looked impressive to me. He's had his up and down. He's had his ups and downs. Again, he had his up and downs, but he's looked he's looked impressive. This is I'm judging the guy on his first year in a real stable situation. This is a situation where it's not hectic like Tampa. Tampa was a little eerie. This is his first stable year. So I can't judge it too hard. But from what
I'm not talking about a player, I'm talking about a team.
I've seen now, I've seen dramatic improvement. So I am impressed by that. That's what I am saying. I'm not saying
I'm talking about.
I want to get MVP.
I'm talking about a team. Who's been impressive to you as a team, not a player?
Who's been impressive to me as a team? I don't know. I think honestly, a lot of teams have been starting off slow out the game. I'm gonna be honest. I thought the Bills. You gotta understand. Just because your record is good doesn't mean your team has been playing impressive. You could just be lucking out in games. The Giants could be.
So the Bills have been lucking out.
Could easily be 4-1 and still not look impressive. And I'm making you're making a face. They should have beat the Broncos. There's no reason they should have. They should have beat Atlanta, and they lost on a field goal, which wasn't on all sides. The Giants could easily be 4-1, and again, they don't look impressive, even if they were 4-1.
You know what? Let me speak to Zay's point for a minute. You're right. The Giants could be 4-1, and they would still have the same flaws. They would still have the same problem. You're exactly right. Look, like I said earlier, they still lose a time of possession battle every game. That happens every game. They still don't convert on third down, and they don't stop anybody on third down. So whether they're 1-5 or whatever the record is, they still would have the same problems. You know what I'm saying? And with these injuries, again, it just compounds things. But yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying, Zay, to a point.
What I'm saying is your record doesn't necessarily mean your team is playing impressive.
Correct.
The Giants, again, are a team. I've said it many times. They deal with bad luck. They're not a bad team.
No, listen. you guys might recall from week 15 right to the Super Bowl, I said I didn't like the way the Chiefs looked. I saw a lot of flaws in the Chiefs, and they got to the Super Bowl, and then they got lit up and exposed, and it's been a rough start. I was very concerned about that team. You know, trying to revamp an offensive line. Defense has gotten progressively worse. That backfield's really never been settled for the Chiefs. And Mahomes is he, as great as he is, he's only a human being. He's not magic. I know he throws the ball underhand and behind his whatever. He's a human being, and he can only do so much. And if they look, every team's got the same problems. I was laughing on Monday. ESPN acted like Lamar Jackson is now the greatest passing quarterback of all time. And he had a great game. But let's be honest with ourselves. Despite that one great passing game, you're still a little concerned about Lamar throwing the football. And let me remind everybody, the only reason he threw the ball that much was because they were getting destroyed. And he had to throw the ball. And he's fortunate that Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews had huge games because, see, the ESPN was spinning it that he made them have great games. And I would say if he didn't have the good talent around him, he gets Bateman back, things are only going to get better there. They gave the excuse of the running backs, the defense, all the same problems Daniel Jones has. All the same problems and issues Jones has, Lamar has. But despite Daniel Jones having a similar passing game last week to what Lamar did this past week, treated completely different. I like Lamar Jackson. He's great. I still say he's suspect throwing the football week to week. So I don't listen. One game doesn't make a season. 6 games don't make a season, Zay. You're right. This is a weird division. Weird stuff happens. Remember a couple years ago when the Eagles just could not give this thing away fast enough? They had the division and they were like, we're going to figure out how to make someone else win it. This is a weird division. Teams usually get within a game, like they can clinch 3 games to go, and they somehow find a way of not doing it. So, as far as the Giants turning it around to where Zay thinks they'll contend, that's not happening. Washington doesn't strike me as being in a real good defense. That might be a bigger surprise than how bad the Giants are. 3 Super Bowls in 10 years. 2 of them were Eagles, like one and doneers. Who was the other team that won a Super Bowl?
What are you talking about?
He said 3 in 10 years. Who's in the 10 years? One?
The Giants won 20.
What have been the Giants?
Twice it's 2 in the last 10 years.
Yeah, fine.
It's only 2.
Listen here, look,
14 years ago now.
No, but in the span of 10
how many divisions can you really count Super Bowls in every year?
I was going to say, listen, slow down either way. Look, this is a tough division. It's been garbage the last 2 years, but let's be honest. Nobody wants to face the winner of the NFC East in the playoffs. The Bucs barely survived Washington last year. I mean, the NFC East, we know this division. It's always been like this.
Yeah.
Always been like this. It's always an 11-5, a 10-6 will win you the NFC East. It's a dogfight every year. I don't know if the Giants have enough puppies.
I don't see anybody in this division competing with Dallas.
Listen, Sanders said it, and if you don't see a massive improvement in Dallas, you're out of your mind.
You haven't seen improvements. And I said it, Joe, the other day, yesterday on the show. The only thing that's stopping Dallas from legit being Super Bowl champions is not their players, it's their head coach. And I believe that. I do not have faith in Mike McCarthy as a head coach and the coaching staff. Talent-wise, they're just as talented as anybody in this league. That offense is just as good as anybody in this league. And their defense, Dan Quinn has vastly improved that defense to a point that they can contend to winning a Super Bowl. And trust me, I would not want to see the Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl. It's one of my biggest nightmares in sports.
But
it's realistic. This year it feels different. It feels different. I know they haven't won in 21 years, but it feels a little different.
Also, nobody said they're going to win the Super Bowl. Saying they're a Super Bowl contender doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. It means that listen, that offense is what it would have been. Look, Dak was off to a historic start before he got hurt last year. To me, listen, Zeke's playing great. Tony Pollard is such an amazing complimentary back. They've got a ton of receiving weapons, and that defense last year, and there's a bunch of Cowboys fans watching right now, garbage, yes? Garbage. This thing has gotten infinitely better. Like you said, Trevor, Micah Parsons, why the Giants passed on that guy No clue.
How the Giants passed on him or Slater.
Unbelievable. Yeah, again, well, I could live without Slater now that Thomas is starting to realize his thing. But again,
no, but not even
talk
that.
About,
you could have had him and Tom. I mean, if we never thought Thomas was going to play to the level he's been playing so far, I mean, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. But imagine having just that right tackle style. You have your two bookend tight end tackles for the next 10 to 12 years. Oof.
See, I said garbage. He said trash. Same page. Yeah, Sanders says trash, Joe. We were franchise record worst. Yeah, that defense got much better really fast. Mm-hmm. Is it good enough to compete with the Bucs or the Rams or the Cards? I don't think so right now, but I'm like you, Zay, you got to prove it to me now. But to me, yeah, look, I mean, I hate to say this because I hate them too, but I can see Dallas 13-4 reasonably in this division. And there's obviously the Giants at this point mathematically couldn't get to that level. So
no,
it's going to be,
there's a legitimate chance that they sweep the division this year. I don't see the Eagles, Washington, or the Giants beating maybe even 5-1, but it's their division record is going to be really good. And like Joe said, I mean, they might give up the yards per game still, not as bad as last year, but they get takeaways. I think they lead the league in takeaways now. Their pass rush has improved a lot with Micah Parsons. Randy Gregory being back is huge for them. And then their offensive line is back to the Dallas offensive line. They don't even have
Leo Collins either.
Exactly. They're without probably, one of their best tackles. And I don't know. I get what you're saying, Zay, but think about it. A couple years ago, we didn't think the Eagles were ever going to win a Super Bowl. They had never won one before that, and they ended up winning one. So I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to win it this year, but I do agree that they're a contender, and this is the best they've looked in a long time.
Well, here's also the reason why
the Eagles started that year terrible and turned it around. No matter they started okay, then they turned it around, and then
the year they went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it didn't start off great. It looked rough in the beginning.
They did.
Carson Wentz was
not record-wise. As a team, they started off looking shaky, and then they got going, and then they had the quarterback get hurt, and then they did the quarterback switch. The reason he got hurt was
hold on. Carson Wentz was the MVP until he didn't. There was no quarterback switch. He shattered his leg.
Yes, that's how the quarterback hurt. He got switched again. If he didn't, he got hurt because again he holds the ball too long, and it was the issue in the first couple of weeks because he had the issue with him holding the ball too long. He was forcing plays. There were issues. The offense didn't look that great in the beginning, and then he started to figure it out. Then he got injured. Then they brought Foles in, and then they got on this momentum, this run. That's
they were the number one the seed in the playoffs, right?
I never said record.
So listen,
not listen to what I said. I said play wise. Was criticized for holding the ball way too much, causing turnovers, doing all types of stuff. What?
I'm going to help you out right now. Everybody remember last year when Pittsburgh was 11-0 and we knew they weren't that good, and then they lost 5 in a row and the playoff game back to back to Cleveland. You guys remember that? That's what he's talking about. Again, you could be 10-1 and you could be throwing for 354 touchdowns a game, but if you've got a turnover issue, if there's some issues, if your defense, you can still be a team that's winning close games and be off to a 10-1 start. Again, we thought from about week 8 on, we were waiting for the Steelers to start losing games. And then they just started happening in bunches. So I get what you're saying.
All I'm saying is, they were the number one seed, but what I'm saying is Wentz was criticized in the beginning for his holding the ball too much. He was causing turnovers, all types of stuff in the beginning. Then eventually he righted that ship. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say they were losing games. I never said they was at the bottom of the division. Y'all are jumping the gun. I said Carson Wentz didn't start off that great. He figured it out, got on a roll. That's when he became MVP. He got his MVP year. He got hurt. He got hurt holding the ball too long, matter of fact. That's literally how he got hurt.
It was running into the end zone.
He was holding the ball too long. He should have got rid of it way longer than that, and that's how he got hurt.
He ran for
it was on a run.
Bro, he was rolling out of the pocket when he got.
Here's
the clip of when he gets hurt again. I have the clip. He was rolling out of the pocket, and he was
all right.
Once
I'll be honest, I don't even care at this point.
Here's the thing
at all
to say about
the 2018 Eagles. Let's move on here.
Yes. Let me say one quick thing about the Dallas Cowboys. Give me one more thing about why the Dallas Cowboys have a legit shot. You said their defense is vulnerable. Well, Tampa's defense is very vulnerable this year too. They have injuries. The only defense that might be legit so far are the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams have been inconsistent. Their defense has been up and down. And the Green Bay Packers defense, these are the 5 teams legit have a shot of going to an NFC championship game and maybe getting to a Super Bowl. Those are the 5 teams I can see in the NFC right now. All those defenses other than the Cardinals right now have major question marks. So with the saying of, oh, Dallas's defense, I don't trust them. Do you trust Tampa's D? Do you trust the Packers D right now? Or how about the Rams D right now?
I don't trust the Tampa D, and that's why I told you you could be 4-1 and still not look good. You could still have flaws. This is what I'm saying. Tampa's 4-1, and they can easily be 1-4. They could have lost a ton of games already. The only definitive game I'd say they won was Miami against the Dolphins. That's the only definitive game. They could have lost the Atlanta. Atlanta was on the comeback trail. They damn near pulled that one off. They, like you said, they should have lost to Dallas the first week. They haven't looked great. They've had moments where they've looked good, but they haven't looked great. And that's what I'm saying. You could be 4-1. You could be 3-2, but you don't necessarily look great. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're a bad team. I'm not going to say you're going to end bad. You're going to lose the division. You could be 4-1 and still not look good. And that's Tampa to me. They're 4-1, right, but they don't look that great.
You're right. You could be, but what comes down to it is the wins.
More in the NFC than Dallas.
I just said other than maybe the Cardinals, they're all
everyone is shaky, bro. I'm not on anyone's boat to throw anyone as a lead dog. Everyone is shaky. It can change any week. I'm not throwing anyone a lead dog. I'm sorry.
All right. Now, let's take a step back. Let's go back to the Giants and let's preview this matchup. I mean,
good luck.
Yeah. Any way the Giants going, guys?
Yeah, if Mike Glennon becomes a freaking Dan Marino.
Well, Daniel Jones is looking to play.
If they're smart, like they did with Andrew Thomas, I wouldn't bring back Daniel Jones just yet. You want to make sure he's 100% because he has been playing well so far this season when healthy. I want to make sure he's 1,000% healthy. I know that it's the Rams. This is and their offensive line. Who knows if Thomas plays? We just saw how the offensive line looked against Dallas. Nate Solder, please God. Nate Solder is a good human being, a great, fantastic man, but he is not a good left tackle. He is atrocious. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible signing from Dave Gettleman, one of the worst signings he's had, and he's had bad signings. It's a terrible signing, and it shows a difference of how valuable Andrew Thomas has actually been for the New York Giants this year. He probably is the most valuable New York Giant so far in 5 weeks because of the way Daniel Jones' success is because he's had protection. So with the way Nate Solder played last week, I don't want Daniel Jones. If Andrew Thomas can't play, I don't want Daniel Jones playing this week. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't want him playing regardless. Him coming up wobbling like that after he got concussed, it would be smart to hold him out this week, especially when you're facing Aaron Donald up front. No, thank you. I'd rather.
He looked like a 20-year-old after leaving the bar after a couple of Four Locos.
Exactly.
It looked good. Can't handle their liquor. That's what he looked like, and it was a scary situation because you never want to see your quarterback like that. Any player, let alone
the Giants it'd be a full team effort in order for them to pull this one off. It had to be a full team effort, and Jones to me playing. The difference between this year and last year, it was a hamstring issue. It's very hard to throw the ball when you don't have your legs underneath you. It's hard to be accurate. It's hard to put force behind it. This isn't necessarily a injury that should affect his skill necessarily, but his mental stability. So I don't know how the Giants are going to handle it. If they feel mentally he's in the right place, I think you have to give him the shot and give your team a chance at least in this division. But it's going to take a team effort either way, full total team effort because they're not going to be at full strength.
No, the only hope is I don't know. A field goal battle.
Tony. If he goes for 250
Evan Ingram. Put him at wide out. He goes off for 3 touchdowns.
Oh, God.
He had a nice catch last week.
He's been playing quietly good. After all the crap I've talked about him through the years, the last few games, he's been quietly good. He hasn't fumbled. He's made catches, and he's just done his business. So I'm not going to say much about him.
But, he's like our only hope now for the Giants. At least in this game, I always pick the Giants. I'm going to say they win off a field goal battle.
Oh my God. Jace, be realistic with yourself. I know you're a Giant fan. I'm a Giant fan too. Be realistic.
I was the best at picks this last year on the show, and I picked the Giants every year. So I will put the blind spot up for my teams, but all other stuff, I know my stuff, so I'll take it. Whatever. But let's take a break.
Keep patting yourself on the back for that one. At least you got to win something. You're not good at your fantasy locks, I bet, either.
No, that's me. I'm terrible at fantasy locks.
I took
You're not good at fantasy locks. Jason's
bad before that segment.
All right. Let's take a look at stuff going on around the league. Take a break from the Giants. We got to talk about John Gruden resigns from the Raiders after racist, homophobic, and misogynistic emails surfaced. Now, I'm gonna be honest. His big lips comment. Like, I understand how that looks terrible, and it's not in a business setting. But Joe, we talked about this on Throwing Jabs. It's about context. He's talking about him about running his mouth about like rumors and stuff. So I understand.
So listen, the original excuse was that he refers to people who tell lies and spread rumors, who run their mouth, as you say, as rubber mouths or rubber lips. That is very different than Michelin lips. Michelin tires, and I won't get into it, but look what a Michelin tire looks like and tell me you don't understand what he was getting at. But for a minute, let's go beyond the racism. There was also homophobic comments and misogynistic comments. This is not a good guy. And I don't think anybody ever thought John Gruden was a good person. Like at all. Urban Meyer's not a good human being. Dan Mullins isn't a good human being. I would suspect Nick Saban probably isn't. I would. I mean, there's something about these guys and controlling these big-time programs that when they leave, they think that they can tell anybody and everybody what to do and what they're thinking. But it's 2021, and you can't do that. Now, mind you, these were comments from 10 years ago, and I was just talking about this in All Four Downs, but I've already heard from a lot of people. They're going to start checking our emails now. No one's checking your Yahoo, dumbass. No one's going to check your Gmail account. We're not going to go look at your MySpace account. But if you work for a corporation, and most of you, let's be honest, you've never worked in a corporation. You have no idea what you're talking about. You send racist emails or homophobic emails on company email, you're a douchebag and an idiot. There was a scandal some years ago. I talked about this in All Four Downs. Some high-profile people at ESPN got canned sharing porn on their work emails. That's how corporate America's always worked. It's always been very PC in the corporate world. The rest of America caught up like 5 years ago. Yeah. So everybody calm down. And anybody who's defending John Gruden, get help. John Gruden doesn't give a shit about anybody except for John Gruden. And that's been very obvious his entire coaching career.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like 100 times worse, especially him this year coming at Carl Nassib being one of the first openly gay players, having him on his team. And then like with the racist comments, like how much of that locker room is people of color? Like, how are you going to get a new job now? How are you going to coach a team when most of the locker room, even if it's at like Tennessee or some other like college or something, like I don't see how you can come back from this at all.
I got you on that one, Jace.
Yeah?
I got you an answer for that one, Jace.
Okay.
Because this is white privilege at its fullest being shown, and I'm glad I get to finally speak on this because I've been irritated for a while. What John Gruden says completely out of line. He shouldn't have been allowed to resign. He shouldn't have been able to get any money out of his contract left. He should have been fired on the spot, terminated, removed, and he should have been left whatever money he had as is. But John Gruden is unfortunately a white male in America, and he'll probably take a couple of years off and some radio station will probably give him a call or TV show or Bleacher Report or something like that. And they'll be like, hey, John Gruden, you want to do a sports betting show for us or something like that? And you'll sit there and listen to Gruden's bets or his picks for the week or something like that, because this is white America where you can continue to make these mistakes and get away with it. My biggest issue with this whole situation is the NFL acting like John Gruden resigning is the NFL doing African Americans a favor or moving the bar up for African Americans. No, you haven't moved the bar up for us. You haven't done anything for us. As far as Colin Kaepernick, you've given him a BS trial, and then you gave him some money just to throw it over just so we can cover that up if you want to do that. You don't hire black African American coaches. If you look at Atlanta last year, they should have had an African American coach, and now they didn't. They've gotten rid of him, and now they can't even figure it out. So whatever, I'm not getting into that. And in the case of the Giants, we all complain about our offense. Well, if we had hired Eric Bieniemy, who's an African American coach, we probably wouldn't have an issue with our offense not being creative. But the issue is and continues to be that the NFL continues to drop the ball for African Americans. They will continue to always not give us the equal opportunity that they continue to present themselves as doing. And white America will continue to forgive people like John Gruden for his actions, no matter what he does. And this will just get thrown under the water within a couple of years. So to sit here and even give this story any type of fire or anything under it, it's nothing. It's a waste of time because, like I said, within a couple of years, we'll all forget about it. He'll get a new job somewhere and he'll continue to make as much money as he's always continued to make in his career. That's just how it is in America.
I mean, I feel like we're in a different America. Like, I don't see him bouncing back that quickly. And I don't see that happening. But who knows? I mean,
they already talked about it on the radio. They've already been saying it on the radio. Their company's talking to him already about trying to get him to do shows for them. Now that he doesn't have a job.
But that's not making the same money that I was coaching. I get what you're saying, Zay.
I can't get into the racist tension in America.
I get it.
For that, but
I get it,
deeper
Zay.
than that, bro. It's deeper than that.
I think we are at a point where he'll never be the same. He'll never be the same John Gruden, and people will never look at him the same. If he does even get to that spot, get back to where it was, if he goes and he coaches like the Jets or something, everyone will still always know who he actually is, who he truly is, and what he has down in his heart.
Jace, that's the problem. He gets the opportunity when guys who don't even have a mess up on their record can't even get an interview, can't get an opportunity. And John Gruden can continue to screw up, call people this, make fun of people at the highest level. In some cases in America, would be considered almost what's it called when you attack somebody? A racist attack? I don't want to throw the word off correct. Get the wording correct. Hate crime? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is hate crime? Is what it's called?
Yeah.
It's practically in other fields could have been considered a hate crime. Some of the things he did. But again, we'll give him another $1 million job coaching a football team of African Americans who continue to make your money for this business, and you continue to screw us at every inch you can. That's the issue. Because you take African Americans off that field, and what do you have? You got rugby. You got linemen playing rugby.
All right.
I don't think John Gruden's getting another job in the NFL though. I don't think he gets
a job in anything in this field anymore. And I said that on the show yesterday. And Joey, you thought he might, but I don't think so. I think he's done. I think his career's over with everything.
Listen, there's a reason Urban Meyer's in Jacksonville, and oh my goodness, who's the guy at Louisville?
Oh, Bobby
Italian guy.
Petrino.
No. Basketball.
Oh, Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino. If you're a Rick Pitino, I mean, Rick Pitino's been fired in scandal everywhere he's ever been. Now, Rick Pitino's a good coach, and he's white, as you said, Zay. There's going to be an opportunity for him. It might be at some small college somewhere, does it for a couple of years. The small school guy, hey, look, Pitino's at this. Next thing you know, right back where he needs to be. That's how the good old boy system works. That's what people who are social justice warriors are advocating for and about is the idea. And as they said, the NFL continues to do nothing for African Americans. A lot of lip service, or as John Gruden calls it, Michelin lips. It's unnecessary. You know, it's time to put up or shut up. You've got a league that's like 75% African American. And yet Urban Meyer will hire somebody like Jack Doyle, who was fired from the University of Iowa for being a racist, to coach a locker room that's about 95% African-American. I mean, just the blatant disregard and disrespect just in hiring that guy. The NFL
the only reason he fired him is because he was getting backlash, too. If he didn't get any backlash, he probably would have still had him on staff right now.
Hey, John Gruden the same.
By the way,
if there was no backlash, John Gruden would be still hired. He'd still be coaching.
Of course.
That team is winning. He'd still be coaching if there was no backlash.
So again, for everybody worried about, they were going through his email, they were investigating crimes committed by the Washington football team. Crimes. Actual crimes. And that's where they stumbled across the John Gruden trove. And again, anybody wants to defend John Gruden, my question to you is why? Do you think it's okay to be a dick? You think it's all right to mistreat people or look down on people? That's what you like. Well, again, the same people defending John Gruden are the same people I suspect who like Donald Trump. A leader that will look you in the face and tell you exactly what he thinks of you. The kind of leader that's never succeeded anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. So get over yourselves, everybody. John Gruden's made a ton of money taking a shit on everybody everywhere he's ever been. He'll be fine. And I promise you, he'll be back in the NFL before you know it.
If he does come back, I feel like the players got to speak up more. And you got to be more vocal about stuff like this. No, because a lot of them, they aren't.
What do you
shut up and dribble?
I can't. I think it's such an issue that goes so far over people's head that you really can't even address it.
No,
because it's that.
Right.
I don't think people understand. You honestly, I hate to say it, I feel like you almost have to be African American some days to understand it, to feel it, and that's the bad part. It's like you don't really see it. They benefit off of us. They profit off of us. Patrick Mahomes, he's African American. Even though he looks like a little light-skinned boy, he's African American. He's your poster boy for the NFL. Yet you want to, you should. I can't.
All right.
Because I'm going to get into language I don't want to get into on the show. So
all right.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back with some football. All right. We'll be right back after this.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside swatting those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for this season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade Cesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
Big shout out to Mosquito Shield for sponsoring our episode. Make sure you check them out. Sign up for the fall's coming, leaves coming down. They also have tick shield services. Make sure when you sign up for their services to tell them John about the G-Men sent you. Now, let's get
James,
back.
I think you get a discount, too, if you sign up now for the spring. But
let's go. Let's
Oh.
go. Awesome. Tell them we sent you, and we'll save you some money. Now, we were going to do top 5 after 5, but I was watching Keys to the City, and they did their top 5 power rankings. So
you're taking this? Oh, okay.
No, just who is the best in the NFL right now? The Cardinals, they're undefeated, but are they necessarily the best team, Joe?
Currently, yeah, I do think Arizona is the best team. I think the way that defense is played, like Trevor was saying before with J.J. Watt and Zach Allen, Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons, who everybody knows I love, Buda Baker. It's a great defense. The offense right now is playing at such a high level. Obviously, Kyler Murray has got to be in the discussion for MVP. But I think right now, Arizona has played the best of everybody. And I don't just mean because they're undefeated. They've looked good in their games, and they've outplayed their opponents. And I think if you're asking what team can you trust on both sides of the football right now, that's one of the few teams I would say, yes, I feel that way. And Trev, did I have him number one on my ranking this week? I did. Yeah. So I do think that is the case. Yes.
All right. Trev, do you agree?
No, I actually have the Buffalo Bills. And the reason why I picked the Buffalo Bills is the way they finished the job on Sunday. I don't think a lot of teams in the NFL currently could go into Arrowhead and take care of a team that's been dominating the AFC and the NFL since Patrick Mahomes has taken the reins as the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. The way their defense has been playing right now has been playing probably the best defense in all of football right currently. I'd say the Cardinals and them right there match up evenly defensively. The thing that scares me about Buffalo still is that running attack. They got to get that going. They cannot be relying on – Josh Allen is a hell of a guy to rely on, but you got to have some sort of balance. Just look at what I keep saying, look at the Dallas Cowboys can do when you get a solid running attack. Balanced attack, they're dangerous. The Buffalo Bills, that was an extremely impressive victory on Sunday night. The way they did it, the way they took care of business, they went into a team that they haven't been able to beat. And guess what? They went into Arrowhead, and they dominated. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills right now. But the Arizona Cardinals, huge matchup this week, could change my perspective on them if they win this weekend.
Yeah, I think those are the top two, to be honest. Sean, do you see it any different?
I agree. The Cardinals are right up there, but I'm with Trevor. I think the Bills are the best team in football right now. Obviously, they had a really disappointing week 1 loss to the Steelers, but after that, they've been outscoring teams like crazy. They have the best score differential in the league right now at plus 108, which is absolutely ridiculous. The second closest team is the Cardinals at plus 62. So they've been blowing out teams. Their defense has been playing great. They might have the best safety duo in the league. They have really talented linebackers with Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano. Their pass rush has been getting it done surprisingly too this year. Gregory Rousseau has been showing up. Jerry Hughes has been pretty good. So this defense, they're loaded, and they have a lot of talent. Tre'Davious White looks like the shutdown corner of old. He had a little bit of a rough year last year, but he's been balling out. And then Josh Allen, you can't say enough. He's got to be in MVP conversations right now. I think Emmanuel Sanders was a huge pickup for them. Dawson Knox has been showing up, and he's been one of the top tight ends in the league this year. And then obviously the connection with Stephon Diggs. So I think the Bills are the best team in the NFL right now. I think the Cardinals are definitely right there. I'd probably put them at number 2. But another team I would throw up there is the Ravens, just because the way Lamar Jackson is playing, they don't even have Rashad Bateman right now. Their running attack is absolutely unstoppable, and their defense has been playing well too. So I think that would probably be my top 3 right now. I think the Ravens, they've been in a lot of close games with not great teams, but I think Lamar Jackson has that killer instinct, and he showed it this year that he's going to win the game. So I'd put the Think right behind him. But, yeah, I think the Bills are the best team in football right now.
All right. Zay, you got the Jets here?
You know it. Nah. I think they hit it all on the head. If I had to throw a team in there, though, just so I didn't feel like I was following them, I'd probably say the Chargers. I really do like. I'm not a Justin Herbert fan, but he's starting to look really well. He's starting to make me a believer. I wasn't a fan. I'm becoming a fan. I didn't like him out of college. Obviously, everyone wanted him to go to the Giants. I was on him, but apparently he's proven me wrong. And I mentioned before we had a show where we mentioned our top 5 players. Derwin James is definitely up there for me. I think he's been playing great this year. So I think when you combine those two, both have 2 studs like that on offensive defense, I think that helps your team out too. And that's part of the reason why they're 4-1. So I would probably throw the Chargers in that mix, not necessarily saying they're one of the best, not saying they're the best, but they're definitely one of the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I think those with the Ravens, that's a solid top 4. But we talked about it a lot last year, Joe, with the Bills and the run game. While it hasn't been like a big step forward, they're still averaging 30 more rushing yards per game, which is helping Josh Allen a lot, not have to carry the whole team on his back. And the defense leading in the top of the league in turnovers, like they're just so. I thought they were going to struggle after that Week 1 loss to the Steelers, but
a lot of people have been saying that running game has gotten going a little bit with Singletary and Moss, but look at the numbers. The numbers would say that they're still struggling to run the football, and so
Josh Allen's their second leading rusher, by the way.
Yeah, it's that to me. That's still an issue, and you've got two pretty good backs there. I'm not sure what the deal is and why they can't get it going, but again, I think for me, that's their biggest flaw from last season is still there, and I'm going to need to see a little more consistency from those two guys before I'm like problem solved, because I think it can be. And I do think if they solve that and they could take that pressure off Josh Allen and really have a running game, that guy's dynamite. And that offense is already explosive. It'd be that much better. Certainly that defense much improved. Again, I give the nod to Arizona because I've seen it. I don't think there's any big flaws right now. Buffalo's just got the one. That's why they're my 1-2.
No, yeah, but I mean, it is still improving. Like, it's still a flaw, but it is better than last year. So
it's still noticeable.
Noticeable.
They need to get that going, because down in the playoffs, and when they playing, you're going to be playing. With the way things are going, you could be having home field advantage through Buffalo. You know how the weather goes in the north when it hits December, January. Well, and hopefully if they get to February or late January, it's going to be cold. It's going to be windy, rainy, snowy. Weather that you need to run the ball. You're going to have to get that going eventually. I know they look great. Josh Allen looks like the favorite as the MVP right now, but you got to get that running game going.
Yep, you're right. And we'll see.
We actually don't get snow yet until like February, but
that's why I said the North. I said the whole North. I wasn't talking just Buffalo. I was talking the whole Northeast, the great Northeast. God, I'm not going to have to deal with that stuff anymore, boys.
You lucky duck down in Florida. But all right, now let's get into best bets. And
we have to.
Do we have
to?
Yeah, Zay.
It's part of the show.
Oh man, Sean. We took it.
Zay, you started off really hot, didn't you? 2-0.
For the record, I had that one last week, and then
and you
football happened.
You mocked my Bengals Packers pick, and you said definitely not going to be tied for long.
Again, I said Sean to be at the top. And Sean's at the top.
Yeah, you also said you'd be there with him. But Joe finally getting his second win.
Yeah, it was a while. I'm
Joe.
bouncing back. It's funny. We just did all 4 downs before this. I was 6-14 to start the season, and where am I at now, Jace? Second place, 1 game back of OV. Yep. So I start slow. I'm like the Giants in Zay's mind. I start slow, and then I make the big run at the end for the championship.
Okay. Is this going to start your run right here? Cowboys -3.5 at the Patriots?
Yeah, the Cowboys are easily going to beat the Patriots. And everybody knows how much I love me some Mac Jones, but the Cowboys definitely win this one by more than a field goal. So bank it.
It's so hard for me to see the Patriots go 0-4 at home, though, to start the season. But just like this isn't the typical Cowboys we're used to. It's not the typical Patriots we're used to. So, Zay, I know do you think the Patriots can keep it close and cover that 3.5?
Yeah, they kept it close against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, so they should be able to keep it close against the Cowboys. I mean, if anything, Belichick knows Brady, and if they were able to keep it close with Belichick basically knowing what he was going to throw at him, I don't see why he shouldn't be able to keep it close against the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott's a great quarterback, but he's not at the level of Tom Brady. I don't think, nor will he ever be there. So I think the Patriots can find a way to stay in this game.
Nobody will ever get to Brady status. Nobody will ever get to Brady status.
I don't think anybody will. No, it's impossible. Yeah, you'd have to play forever. It's Patrick Surtain's son is playing. Brady was playing with Patrick Surtain. It's not ridiculous. You can't reach that level. So yeah, definitely think the Patriots can keep it close, though. They're not that bad of a team.
I think this is going to be a blowout.
I said that about the Broncos.
I have that feeling too, but
Buccaneers.
this is a weird number by Vegas. The -3.5. Sometimes Vegas knows some weird things, and I would feel like it's a blowout too, but
I don't know.
That's why I stayed away from this one.
I don't know. New England's got to score, got to score 6. They can't be. They got to be scoring 7. They can't be kicking field goals. This is an offense that is clicking right now, and they're at an all-time peak. They're gelling, running the ball, passing with Dak. CD looks like a star. Amari's a star. Dalton Schultz has been a huge, huge factor in this passing game. And you got Zeke and Pollard, the offensive line. I think Dallas is going to beat them, and I think they're going to beat them up pretty good. Trust me. Like I said, I don't want to see Dallas ever win, but this Dallas team is legit. And that's coming from a passionate Giant fan. That's just me being honest. This is a legit team. I think Dallas is going to beat up on the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, all right, could Mac Jones – I think Mac Jones could keep them close, but it's all going to be on Mac Jones to do it. And
that would be great if Mac Jones is the reason that Joe loses his best bet this week.
Wouldn't it be great?
Picked against your own
Wouldn't
boy.
it be perfect?
Let me explain this to you. Here's the reasoning behind it. One of two things are going to happen. I'm either going to sit there and watch Matthew Stafford light up this Giants defense, and my heart's going to be broken, but at least I'll be like, win the best bet. Or the Giants will stifle Matt Stafford. They will put him on his back all game. They'll pick off a couple passes. They'll steamroll that defense. I'll lose the best bet, but my Giants will win.
You win.
You see what I'm doing here? I got to win. It's a win-win situation for me.
It's like fantasy football.
I will enjoy this Giants football game one way or the other, and this is how I'm going to do it.
All right.
Or they both lose.
Yeah, or like
an unlikely scenario, but certainly one that's on the table.
I always like it's like fantasy. Like you can lose fantasy, it's all right, but if your team wins, that's ultimately the main thing. But if you lose fantasy, both leagues or how many leagues you are, and your team loses, it's a miserable Sunday.
Rough week.
And we've had a lot of those this year. So
yeah, well, not me. I'm winning fantasy, so.
Oh, I'm nasty in fantasy. I don't need to worry. So. I got nothing else to root for.
All right. Sean, you got a road underdog. You think they're gonna rally around giving Gruden the boot?
I do. That's one of the sole reasons I picked this. I feel like this locker room is gonna come together. Obviously, I think they're pissed off at John Gruden. They're gonna come out and show that they're still a good football team and that they didn't need John Gruden. Obviously, they've had rough past 2 weeks, but so have the Broncos. So. I just don't think the Broncos are going to put up enough points to win, cover this by 3.5. So I'll take the Raiders here. I think that Derek Carr is going to get the job done. The Broncos have a good defense, and obviously it's tough to go into Denver, but I think this Raiders team is going to rally around it. And the Broncos have not looked good the past couple of weeks. So even if the Raiders end up losing, I don't think it's going to be by a lot. So this is my best bet, and I'm going to go to 4-2 next week. Speaking it into existence.
All right.
I love it.
I'm not mad at that. All right, Zay. Started off hot. You're on a little bit of a skid.
Sorry.
Is Minnesota gonna bring you back?
Interesting.
I would hope. Obviously, this is a weird pick because Minnesota isn't by far playing and impressing anybody this year. But I've told you before, the Panthers are going to fall off that cliff, and I think that cliff, they've already reached it. The last 2 weeks, they've gotten handily beaten by the Cowboys and the Eagles. And I think it will continue this week. I think the Vikings will probably not put a beat down on them, but at, a point given, I think I can afford to risk that bet. So I'm going to take the Vikings here. I think they'll beat up on them. Even if they win by 3, it's enough for me. So I'm going to have to take them on this one and even out and get back to, 500 and come back for the top a week after. No stress over here.
Yeah, all right. Now, Trev, you just messaged me.
I'm big on the Bills this week. I think the Titans are very, very overrated. I think they're not a good team. I think that defense is very, very vulnerable. Derrick Henry is once again proving why he probably is the best back in all of football right now, doing his thing, King Henry. But this team is very, very questionable. They are probably going to win their division because their division, just like the NFC East, is a garbage division right now. I mean, the Colts are 1-4. They should be 2-3, but that's why bad teams, they find ways to lose. Good teams find ways to win. That's why the Giants are in situations that they are. Bad teams find ways to lose. And the Texans and Jags, do I need to have any other explanation for that? No. The Titans are going to win this division, but the Bills are going to beat up on the Titans. They're not a good team, and we're going to finally somebody's going to see that the Titans are just an average ass team.
I mean, 5.5.
I'm saying it with confidence too, because the way that the Buffalo Bills went into Arrowhead, I don't care. The way you go into Arrowhead, I know that defense has been atrocious this year, but if you could go into Arrowhead and a venue that is very tough to win in and do what they did and took care of business handily, Tennessee should be no problem.
Yeah, but the Titans defense might even be worse.
Dallas, this offense is clicking too. If they could just ever establish a run game, good luck stopping this team.
But do you think Derrick Henry can eat up the clock enough and keep it close?
No, because I think this defense is just as good as any defense, maybe the best in the game. So it's going to be a great matchup in the sense of Derrick Henry against this defense. That's the only way that Tennessee stays in this game, is if they can control time of possession, they can keep that offense off the field, and they rely on Derrick Henry. I don't know if Julio's going to play. He's been a major bust so far for the Tennessee Titans. We were thinking this team was going to be excellent offensively. It's been anything but that, other than Derrick Henry. Yes, it's Derrick Henry or die for the Tennessee Titans. That's what it comes down to. This Bills team is legit defensively. It's going to be a great matchup, but I'm comfortably saying that the Bills take care of business.
All right. And
I got Josh Allen in fantasy too, so I expect big things.
Okay. All right. And also before we get to that this would be your first win if you get it.
Oh, of course.
You were 0-1 last for week 1 on your.
I was bad. I was in week 1.
Yeah.
Who did I pick week 1?
I don't know. I'd have to go back.
Pick with your eyes closed.
But yeah. All right. I got the Cardinals. I understand. I think the Browns are a little bit overrated. I mean, Baker Mayfield isn't great. The defense is solid. I don't think it's necessarily too like elite level. I think it's on that cusp. I don't know, but this Cardinals offense is just going to be too much for this Browns defense, and I don't get why the Cardinals are 5-0 and underdogs here. I understand it's on the road.
Because it's the Arizona Cardinals. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Let's be honest. If this was the Patriots, we'd be like, oh, well, it's the Patriots. We've become accustomed to it. But with the Arizona Cardinals, we're not accustomed to seeing a team like this being 5-0. They haven't been 5-0 since 1974. It's the Arizona Cardinals. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Maybe after this week, they'll get the people's respect.
Okay, but it's the Arizona Cardinals against the Browns.
I mean, the Browns
are solid.
If you're going to use it's the Cardinals logic, it's the Browns.
Yeah, but the Browns should realistically, I mean, if they don't choke in the 2 games, that's all I'm trying to say is that they should be also almost 5-0. They should have been the
Browns
Chiefs.
like they're going to play a college team, bro. They're still a professional team on the other side of that ball.
But if you look at history and go it's the Browns.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the sense that it's like the new kid on the block. You just got to get used to it. You got to give it some time to roll with. And that's what it is right now with the Cardinals. They're a new kid on the block. I mean, look at the teams. The Bills. Oh, we expected that. The Buccaneers expected that. Chargers, a lot of people had them as dark horse. And then you get like the Packers, good team. Dallas, we were expecting this in the sense of what they can do offensively. But when you see the Cardinals,
every year they say Dallas go to win.
No, look, just hear me out. I'm just trying to finish the point. Then you see like the Cardinals, they're 5-0. You're like, aren't the Rams or Seattle or maybe even the 49ers supposed to be 4-1, 5-0? Not the Cardinals. So it's just the new kid on the block. We got to get used to it, and you got to let time be, and then we'll start to get, and then we won't have people complaining and saying or being shocked about it. Okay. That's why I say what I say.
All right, yeah, I get it. But the Cardinals going to get it done on the road. They are just a better team than the Browns. Plain and simple. Cardinals are the class of the NFL right now. There we go. Now, let's take a look at fantasy locks.
Of course.
Boom. Zay, you're first.
Seriously, Joe? Seriously, Joe? There's got to be a rule for that. You can't pick the same person.
He loves Derrick Henry. Don't ever go against Derrick Henry.
Well, I don't even know what happened. How did that even happen? I wasn't aware that we had picked the same guy.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you didn't. I got to go back and watch last week's show. I don't think you picked Derrick Henry.
No, Joe had to bounce.
No, Joe had to leave.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, dang.
Joe had the same best bet as Sean and the same fantasy lock as Zay.
Jace, can I ask you, every time I come on this show and I see fantasy lock and then I see Jace's compared to everybody else.
Because I was so dominant. I had to let them. I did Gronk and Michael Carter back-to-back weeks. I was ahead by so much. Yeah, I just had to let them catch up.
You put the pedal to the metal. Forget about everybody else. If they stink, they stink.
No.
Move on. I'm not giving them a chance.
I want some fun. I want some zhuzh.
I want domination.
I want competition.
When were you ever in the lead?
When was I ever in the lead? Before I picked Gronk. I had Aaron Jones. I had Josh Allen. I had Tyrod.
I picked Tom Brady. We went up for like 60 points. What are you talking about?
That was last year.
Yeah, Jace, because you started to finally learn that fantasy lock is you pick good players. You don't pick Colt McCoy or Jameis Winston.
Almost won with Tyrod Taylor.
Almost counts in horseshoes.
Yeah,
and grenades in atomic warfare.
All right, yeah. Well, I got the SpongeBob Square pick for you all. There you go. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to get my lead back, and then, sure, I'll put the pedal to the metal because I just want to win. No.
Do you not want to win?
No, I want to win and look good doing it. I want to win with the Michael Carters. I want to win with the Tyrod Taylors.
Well, why not just win?
I want to win every week with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
When were you winning?
I was winning the first 3 weeks.
Before we picked. Okay.
James, with the way your head is, it looks, it's that you haven't been winning a lot actually because you shaved your head. You're not winning with that.
Right. Every time I make a bet, I lose. But other
Stop
than that,
betting, Eddie Mush. Stop betting.
Maybe.
Isn't he the best, you guys? Come on.
Where's your shirt, Trev? It's been years. I put a pie in my face. I wore a Ohio State shirt for you. I shaved my head.
I'm coming up.
And you still haven't won your.
I know. I'm still waiting for my shirt, but I'm actually coming up in a month. So Joe better have the shirt. I'm a large, Joe, and I will wear it.
Are you large now?
I just the shirt was there was a bet a year ago that I lost. Let's just say that.
All right. Ooh, Joe.
It's a Biden Harris shirt, and trust me, I don't want to wear it, but I'm gonna do it. But I haven't been able.
So good in that shirt.
Wait,
people are going to think
the bet wasn't what I think it was.
Oh yeah, it was a bet. Oh, it was Derrick. It was the Tennessee Titans versus the Ravens when the Derrick Henry won in overtime, and the bet was at the time it was around October going into November. It was a presidential vote or a bet. So. Hey, it's okay. We don't have to get offended if we mention names. It's okay, guys. We'll survive. We're guys. We'll survive. We'll make it. Okay? Don't get offended.
All right, Joe. Matt Stafford, you already talked about it. This
is great. This is a great pick for any Giant fan. You can cheer for Matt Stafford if it's
just
going.
Just put the whole Ram team, Joe. Just put the whole Ram team.
Yo, like I said, with your luck, the Giants will pick up their second win. Matthew Stafford would throw 3 interceptions just to make
but you heard Joe earlier. You still win because the
Giants. I'll be screaming my face off with every interception.
I'm okay if we all win. If Joe loses.
No, that's fine. This is the best win-win scenario for me this week. This will make me feel good because I haven't felt good in a while. I deserve this.
But what if Matthew Stafford gets injured on the first play?
Why would you say that? I don't want to see nobody get injured, especially a guy like Stafford. I don't want to see him.
If Matthew Stafford gets hurt on the first play, the Giants will win the football game.
I still don't think they can do it at that point. I don't know.
Probably not. Who's the backup? I don't even know. I don't know, but he's better than
John Wolford versus Mike Glennon. What a match!
Oh yeah, no, actually, John Wolford is pretty solid. I do remember him coming up in the postseason.
Mike Glennon's your boy, Joe. All right.
Mike Glennon is not my boy. I made one joke that I like him throwing the football.
Well, you're stuck with it.
Yeah,
I'm stuck with the Jets. You're stuck with it like I'm stuck with the Jets. That's what it is.
You guys remember when I played his highlight reel? Trevor and Teddy got all pissed. I'm like, let me just run. You guys got to see this. They thought I was being serious. and it was a highlight reel of him throwing pick sixes and getting strip sacked.
Yeah.
For 2.5 minutes.
It was bad.
I don't like Mike Glennon. I'm not even kidding. When the Giants signed him, I was like, did I wish that into existence?
Joe,
I didn't mean to.
Joe, that highlight video is almost as bad as Gary Sanchez's highlight videos.
Nothing's as bad as Gary Sanchez.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Oh, let's.
Joe didn't appreciate that one.
Joe's getting upset.
Gary. Gary's his favorite player of all time.
Modern day Yogi Berra.
All right. Okay. Let's get back to football.
Here he comes. Ooh, I like it.
Oh,
I like it. My boy Najee.
Glad I did make that pick. I'm glad you
Harris playing against his own team. No, but yeah, I don't know why I have to do this segment. I've been getting blown out in fantasy locks this year. I think you guys have like all doubled up. I have 77 points on the year, so I'm switching up the strategy. I've picked all QBs and receivers so far, so I'm going to a running back. Hopefully, this gives me a little momentum. Najee Harris has looked really good the past couple of weeks. The Seahawks defense is not great, so hopefully Najee Harris gets me some points and gets me back into the race. The way it's looking right now, it's probably not likely because I suck at fantasy locks, but I'm gonna risk it all with Najee.
So you picked Najee. I need Najee. I have Najee on my team, so this is bad luck for me.
Yeah, why would you do that? He's on my team. Yeah, my fantasy team. Why would you?
Well, hey,
you're gonna do well. You're gonna get a lot of points. You're gonna catch up. What's wrong with you?
The new strategy is gonna work. I'm just gonna pick running backs and tight ends from here on.
I like it.
Okay. All right. Like Zay. Jamar Chase,
another guy on my fantasy team. He's been solid. And as the fantasy leader, it only makes sense that I continue to add to this lead. So as I got to lead something until I catch back up in bets. So Jamar Chase will go off this week, probably another 30-pointer, 20, somewhere between 20 to 30, somewhere like that, and continue to boost my league and push me to the 200s. So I'm not really worried about it.
All right. Yeah. Jamar Chase is going to get it done. And Trev, I know you weren't on that graphic, but looking up at the stats, your season total is 15. Week 1, you picked Lamar Jackson. This week, you're going Tyreek Hill.
Yep. This is a week that you expect Tyreek Hill. I had 15 points last week, but this is against the Washington team. Overall, that's god-awful, and we all thought this team was supposed to be Super Bowl caliber defense, but it's been anything but that. This secondary, very vulnerable. You picked Patrick Mahomes. It's a great pick. I would have picked him too, but that's an obvious one. So I go with the second obvious guy. Tyreek Hill, he's a home run threat any time of the game. And he had an all right week, but you know how he has these 15-point games and he'll bounce to like 30, 40 points. I'm expecting him to have that type of week against the Washington football team.
All right. I know Zay just had a big week for Zay. Who'd they play? They played
the Chiefs?
The Ravens.
Who?
Huh? Wait, what?
No, when did Tyreek Hill go off?
He just a couple of weeks. I mean, he had week 1 with 37.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about when I picked him. I don't remember.
Oh, the Eagles. Yeah.
Eagles, yes. And it wasn't a SpongeBob Square pick because they had the same record, according to Zay.
Now it is. Now it's a square pick.
All right. That's going to do it for John about the G-Men. Thanks, Trev, for joining us. Make sure you check out Keys to the City. And thanks, Joe, Sean, and Zay for always. But, yeah, and make sure you sign up for Mosquito Shield, mosquitoshieldct.com. Make sure you tell them John about the G-Men sent you. Get a discount code for the spring, and also get the tick shield services for the fall and the leaves coming down. And also make sure you check out www.clovercrestmedia.com for not just more about this podcast and Keys to the City, but a bunch of other podcasts, political podcasts, true crime, not just sports. Go check it out. That's clovercrestmedia.com. That's going to do it. Enjoy the games. I mean, Giants game might not be too enjoyable, but still, we're all going to try and enjoy it. So you might as well too. We'll see you next week to talk more Giants football. Until then, take care. The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hello, my name is Joe McGuire. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement that you don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies, doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We're dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast, Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman. But speaking of those Lakers, hold on. But I didn't make my. I said Denver's gonna win.
Yeah, you did. You said that. There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
Get into the gridiron and huge games. Last week we've been talking about quarterback play. And we just had it on Tuesday. We had two of these quarterbacks on our top 6 list right now, currently playing at an all-time high. Justin Herbert has been torching the league for the past 3 weeks. He's got over 11 touchdowns. He has been doing his thing. And it's just fascinating to see how both of these quarterbacks, different types of style of play, have been dominating. And we think about it, you look at what Lamar did on Monday. You look at what Justin Herbert has done on Sunday. You can't go wrong with either quarterback.
Did anyone have him in fantasy? I just want to know because
I have Justin Herbert, but I traded Justin Herbert because I have Josh Allen, so I don't really need either. I didn't need him. So here's how this matchup. It's only the second matchup in league history in which both quarterbacks are coming off games of 400 total yards and 4 touchdown passes. So the past 3 games, like I said, with Herbert torching the league, he's at an NFL high, 11 touchdowns the past 3 weeks, while Lamar ranks second in the league with just over 1,000 passing yards, 1,045. So you look at both these teams, they have the way they've won their games could be easily 5-0 right now. And the way they've come back, the way they've played both styles of play, different styles of play. A lot through the year for the Chargers, running the ball, kind of a dual threat version with the Baltimore Ravens. But who do we trust more in this game? And who do we have trust more going forward for two teams that look like they're going to be in that race for home field advantage at the very end of this season?
I was just thinking more and more. I was kind of breaking your stones beforehand, but this is a great question. Brandon Staley.
Of course. What do you think? I don't know what the hell you don't think I know what I'm doing.
Listen to the reason why it's a great question is because I, of course, can't come up with one answer.
No, not you.
Of course not. Brandon Staley has proven a lot to me this season.
I love Brandon Staley.
And watching him last week go for it on multiple 4th downs, especially on his own, 26-yard line on a 4th and 7. But I believe that's the trust that he has in his quarterback and his team speaks volumes. They can score. They scored 26 points in the 4th quarter last week against the Browns. Was that the Browns' bad defense? Was that Chargers' exceptional play? Here's the one question I have with the Chargers is, can they stop the running game? They gave up over 200 yards of rushing, over 500 yards of total offense last week to the Browns. Now, yes, they overcame it. They won it. But, I mean, if the Browns maybe could have had a stop and played some better defense, they could have won the game. Like I said to you before, and you mentioned it before when you were talking about this game, both teams could be 5-0 right now. If I have to choose right now, I'm going to say the Ravens, only because the trust I have in them is overcoming the injuries, everything from losing Ronnie Staley from last year's ankle injury to Nick Boyle, the tight end. They've come back from multi-10-point deficits this season, 19 points this week to the Colts, and they had to throw the football, something that we're not used to seeing conventionally of the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar. And then, the three running backs, and then Marcus Peters being out as well. I'm not saying the Chargers won't win the football game. You asked me, do you trust more? I've built such a trust in Lamar Jackson, much more so because he can do so many things with his legs, with his arm. This is not a knock on Herbert. This is like picking between your two children. I mean, if you ask me who I'd rather have for the next 10 years, I'd probably take Herbert over Lamar. But right now, the way Lamar is playing, with everything on his shoulders, it's exceptional. And I trust in Harbaugh on the defense. And, I mean, you see with the 4th and 1 when the Chiefs see the trust that, Harbaugh, Lamar, you want to go for it? And and he can get it. I feel like they're building on something. I feel like this could be the AFC Championship game, what we're looking at this week. Both teams, like I said, could be 5-0. Both teams are both capable of making to the Super Bowl. And who's home this week?
This is at Baltimore currently. It's a 1 o'clock game.
I think Baltimore finds a way to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Herbert puts up 400 yards.
So here's
what the Ravens end up winning the game because they're able to control the clock a little bit more of a running game. Because until the Chargers can prove that they can stop the running game a little bit more, because I know they have Derwin James, I know they have Joey Bosa, but you can't be giving up 200 yards rushing.
Well, here, I'm glad you brought up the rushers. So the Chargers are allowing currently an NFL high 157.6 rushing yards per game and 5.6 yards per rush this season. You know why that's a bad thing? Because the Ravens rank 4th currently in the NFL with 148.8 yards per game and 6th in yards per rush at 4.9. So that's going to be the key of this game. Can the Chargers slow down? You're not going to stop something that's been working for over years now. And now I'm talking about the Baltimore running attack. It's been working for years currently. You're not going to be able to stop it. You can only slow it down and just try to get off the field because you know what the other side of your team can do in the sense of what your quarterback can do, what your running back can do, and what your receivers can do, your weapons on offense can do. With that offensive line, you can put up points on anybody in this league, and we've seen it the past couple weeks, going into Arrowhead, beating the Browns last week. You can put up points against anybody in this league. Baltimore relies – if there's an MVP award, and somebody said it, how could we not have Lamar Jackson number 1 realistically? Because you look at him, if you take him off the Baltimore Ravens, I try to compare it to who was it a couple of years ago in basketball. If you took them off the team, they'd be one of the worst teams in the league. I forgot it. I remember saying it on the show.
Yes.
Oh, the year that Westbrook. Okay, the year that Westbrook
they made the playoffs. They were the 18th.
Hold on. The year that Westbrook had their historic triple-double season, first since the Big O. And literally, I was saying, everybody said, well, Harden should have won. Well, fair enough. Harden was historically great that season as well. But if you took Russell, most valuable player, we have to think about that word, most valuable player to team. Literally, it means it in the definition. If you took Russell Westbrook off of that team, they were going to be at least one of the top 2, if not the worst team in that entire league that season. They ended up making the playoffs. They were the 6th seed that season. That's how far he got them. I know they didn't win anything, but he got them to the playoffs for a team that wasn't good.
They would have been working 15 games that season.
This Raven team, I'm not going to say is that Oklahoma City Thunder team. They have pieces on that team. They have a great coach. But if you took Lamar off that field and you put in, Trace McSorley, I like Trace McSorley. But if you put in Trace McSorley.
How about this? Put Baker Mayfield on that team.
Yeah.
They're closer to 1-4 than they are 4-1.
I would say more 2-3, but that's what we're trying to say is that.
That's closer to 1-4 than it is 4-1.
That's what we're trying to say is that when you take a man like Lamar Jackson off the field, I know we say, Josh Allen has been the MVP, Kyler Murray, Brady, Dak, Even Herbert. I know that's fair enough. But realistically, we have to look at the bigger picture. If you took Lamar off this team, what would the Ravens be? It wouldn't be even on TV right now. Lamar Jackson, you said the other day, you were talking, well, Lamar doesn't stretch the field. Yeah, he does. Doesn't stretch the field with his arm, stretches the field with his legs. Because at any point of the play, Lamar Jackson can make a play that goes for a -5 to a +25 play in positivity. That's what Lamar Jackson's way of stretching the field is. He doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have to be Herbert. Even though he is doing it right now, throwing the ball accurately and completion percentage is up. Touchdowns, big game on Monday night. He's doing all the right things. He is carrying this team to victories. And this man has to get more and more respect. The way that Josh Allen has gotten his respect. The way that Justin Herbert is getting the acknowledgement now throughout the league. Patrick Mahomes. I know that Lamar Jackson hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but the man is getting better and improving each and every year. And that's what we want to see from a guy that coming out of the NFL draft, most people thought, oh, this kid's a running back. I thought he was going to be a star. I knew he was going to be a star because he was a star in high school. He was a star in college, and he's just going to be doing it again in the NFL. And good luck. And people are saying, well, they're going to figure out a way to stop him. Good luck. I'm still waiting for it. This question, honestly, who do I trust more in? I'll agree with you, Ted. I'm going to agree with the Ravens.
I totally thought you were going to choose
because they've been in this situation before. The Chargers, we've seen, yes, they have won games this year that in the past they have blown. But now they're figuring out ways to win. They're gutsy. Their coach is gutsy. Their quarterback has the moxie, has the swag, has the confidence, and could be playing the best out of any quarterback in the league right now, in a league that has some great quarterback play going on. But I'm going to go with the Ravens because they've been in situations like this the past couple of years, and they know what they have with Lamar going, but both teams know what they have going forward with both of these offenses. It's just that Chargers defense is very, very scary in the sense of that run defense. They haven't been able to stop a rushing attack. We're going to get to see them against a powerhouse of a running attack for the past couple of years. I'm going to go with the Ravens, but boy, oh boy, if the Chargers win this game, good luck, because this is such a hard game to pick because of how great these two teams have been in the first 5 weeks.
Oh,
and
yeah,
both these quarterbacks.
And I'm not saying
I'm not knocking either one.
I'm not saying this is a
knocking either
must-win,
team.
but this in a week, sixth game, whatever, week 6, it's kind of a must-win. Because you don't know where you look back at week 16, week 17, and talk about, oh man. And the reason why I say must win is because now you only get the one bye with the number one team. So for like the Ravens, maybe late in the season, depending on injuries, having that extra bye week, having Lamar rested, you know what I mean?
And the other thing is Buffalo's schedule the next couple weeks. They look like they could be W's in the column. They're playing Tennessee on Monday night. That should be a win. They go after the bye. They play the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Those are two very, very winnable games for the Bills. So these two teams got to keep winning because the Buffalo Bills are continually winning.
Well, yeah, look at their division. Their divisions are a lot tougher where you're going to lose more games, and the Bills have it much easier. Similar to what the Patriots were able to do for 20 years, pick on the week.
I can't wait for this game. It's a 1:00 game. Looking forward to it. Cannot wait. It's going to be on TV, so thank God CBS will be playing this game because how can you miss this game? This has all the potential of another slobber knocker fight.
I'll probably have the Jets on over here.
No, I think they're going to – well, down here they're going to have the – I mean, I'll be watching – I'll be loving it. At least you got Red Zone. Speaking of a game that's not going to be on TV, but probably is the second biggest game of this weekend, and huge news coming out today that the Cleveland Browns will be out with one of their best players, Nick Chubb, will be out this week's game. It's the Cleveland Browns against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, why did I say more to prove for the Cardinals? Here's my thing about the Cardinals. Yes, they're 5-0. They've looked perfection. Perfection is what they have been so far. But there still are the naysayers that fully don't trust this team in the sense of, okay, well, the way you won last week was a great victory because you relied on your defense. Your offense didn't come up big for you. Your defense did. How about you go into a hostile environment against a team that most people project to be a playoff caliber team this year? So That's why I say, do we do more to prove in the sense of the Cardinals? Because you're going into hostile territory. You're 5-0. If you win this game, maybe you'll have those naysayers that have been criticizing you for the first 5 weeks and don't really believe in you yet. Maybe they'll start believing. So, Ted, let me ask you, who is more to prove in this game? Is it the Cleveland Browns now without Nick Chubb? Thank God they got a good backup running back. Yeah. Or is it the Arizona Cardinals?
Well, here's another thing. Yeah, I mean, you probably thought about it. You just didn't put it in the question. Back-to-back number 1 picks. Quarterbacks from Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield 1 year. The next year, Kyler Murray. So one guy looks like he's a superstar, and another guy we're questioning if he's even going to get re-signed to his own team. More to prove, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. You just gave up 49 points to the Chargers. You had 500 yards of total offense, no turnovers. Teams, I believe, were 401-0. I think in history of the NFL. I don't know if anyone's ever lost that.
No turnovers, 500-plus yards, 40 points.
Over 200 yards rushed.
I sent you the stat. It was like 430 or 403 or
401, I believe, in like 1 or something, or 0. Mm-hmm. It's remarkable. They have something to prove. You can't – listen, the Cardinals, if they lose, everyone say, hey, listen, eventually they were going to lose. We'll see how they lose. I think it's the Browns. I think because – Why the Browns? The same reason I can use for the Cardinals. I look at the quarterback situation. I look at how Kyler Murray and their team. Listen, they stopped Derrick Henry in week 1. They've stopped all the big running games. Okay, the Browns average 187 yards rushing a game, but the Cardinals defense have stopped all the running games this year. They shut down the 49ers. They only gave up 58 yards in week 1 to Derrick Henry, 86 yards total in the week 1. So they've done really well in the running game. Now Chubb is out, but Kareem Hunt is no scrub. If you have Felton on the fantasy guys, go look at him. He's a running back / wide receiver. Go pick him up. Probably have a big game this week.
Kareem Hunt's going to be huge today.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. Forecast shows for 25-mile-an-hour winds in this game. 20 to 25 mile an hour. So weather could play a plan, which means the running game importance. Now, Cardinals are also going to be out with Chandler Jones. Now, Kyler Murray didn't have a great game last week, but that's okay. You talked about it in the show earlier this week. They found other ways to win. All right. Which quarterback? My question would be, which quarterback is going to lead this team to victory? Which quarterback is going to play better will dictate who is going to win.
This is the question before. Who do you trust more?
Well, here's the thing. I trust Kyler. But I think if Baker and the Browns are going to win, he's going to have to play better. He's going to have – Kyler Murray can't be running around and throwing the ball over the field. DeAndre Hopkins is going for a 7th straight game of over 100-plus yards. He's phenomenal. The Cardinals' offense can score points at will. Their defense has played well. I love what they've done this season. The Cardinals, for me, have proved that they're a legit team. They are. It's for me so far. The Browns, the Browns need to prove something to me because this was one of my teams that I thought could make the Super Bowl. And if they lose another game like this, I'm going to say the same thing. You couldn't beat the Chiefs. You couldn't beat the Chiefs.
3-3.
You couldn't beat the Chargers when you had them. And both teams were up by double-digit leads. And if it happens again this week against the Cardinals, 3 teams that, like, right now you're like, all right, these are Super Bowl contenders. I don't care if you pick on the week. Can you beat the bully up? Can you beat the guys that are elite, the teams that are going to be the teams that you're going to face in the playoffs? So for me, the answer is the Cleveland Browns.
I'm going to have to actually agree with you on this one too, because
what is going on today? This is not right.
Ted, you said I'm glad you brought up the weather report because if it's going to be as windy as they say, that could set up good. That could set up actually favorable to the Browns and Baker Mayfield. Baker doesn't have to throw like Kyler. He doesn't have to play like Kyler because he's not Kyler. Rely on that rushing attack, the top-ranked rushing attack, I should be saying. They're averaging 187 points or 187.6 yards per game on the ground. The Cardinals, kind of like with the Chargers, they've given up 140. So this is a matchup where let's rely on that rushing attack. And don't worry about the diva receiver at number 13 that's complaining he doesn't get the ball. Don't worry about him.
Get him the ball.
Get him the ball. True, 100%. But if it's going to be like the weather that we're predicting, this is a game where you have to run the football, establish that run game. Think a bit like the game that they had last year against the Texans or something. It was like 10-3.
No, the Raiders. That was that windy game.
Yeah, it was windy as hell, and they ran the ball effectively. They have to do that again. Now, it's unfortunate that they don't have Nick Chubb playing, and Jedrick Wills Jr. is out actually as well, too, for this team. So they have some losses on this offense right now that we've all thought was going to run through the league this year. They've struggled at times with injuries. I'm going to go with the Browns because at this situation, current situation right now, if the Cleveland Browns lose this game, they will be 3-3. And for a team that we all expected to be in that maybe tier of Super Bowl caliber, well, they've played two teams so far that in that caliber of Super Bowl so far, in the Chargers and the Chiefs, like you said, Ted, two touchdown blown leads and couldn't finish the job. So we have to see them finish the job. The Cardinals found a way to win last week. Their offense struggled, but their defense came in clutch. A big loss with Chandler Jones, but their defense has been playing well so far. So it's going to be on the Browns and Baker Mayfield. Can they get the running game going? And can Baker, when asked to make the throw, can he make those throws? I'm not making no predictions. We don't make predictions on this show, but I expect this to be another great game of two great caliber type teams. Who would have thought you'd be talking about the Browns and Cardinals as a must-watch game this season? It should be a hell of a game.
Well, look at the two quarterbacks Baker Mayfield lost to, Justin Herbert and Mahomes, right? And we look at those two guys as now people are starting to recognize Herbert as elite, all right? And I think Kyler Murray is right on that brim of being elite. He's really good. He's a star. He's one of the most exciting players to watch in the league. I don't know if he's a superstar yet. He's still got work and stuff to prove, I think, to a lot of people. But for me, for the Browns, like we didn't expect this with the Cardinals. You know what I mean? We expected the Browns to be good, to be really good. And you lost to two teams that look like Super Bowl caliber teams. And if you lose another game to it, it's like, all right, well, who have you beaten and who have you lost to? Well, we lost to the good teams and we've beaten the bad teams. So, you know,
the question should be, what Browns team are we going to get this weekend?
Well, they just put up 42 points. You should be good enough to win the game. You had 500 yards total offense. You had no turnovers. Baker actually threw for 300 yards. I'd like to see them get Beckham more involved in the game. That's why you have him. I don't understand. Use him. Get him on quick screens. Use him.
You don't even have Jarvis. You don't even have Lance Jarvis playing right now. Currently, Jarvis is out. So
no, I think he's back this week. I thought I just read the report. He's back. So
that's a big addition for that offense. So let's finish.
Even if you could be halfway out there to move the chains and keep, especially if the weather's going to play a factor, you got to move the chains, possession. You know, time possession, running the football. So
it should be a great game. Speaking of a game that's probably going to be a complete opposite, is this game in the Meadowlands, in MetLife Stadium.
Good luck.
The New York Giants. We just talked about what Cleveland Brown team are we going to get? Well, what kind of team are we going to get? An injury-prone team, a JV type team right now in the New York Giants offense currently. Daniel Jones is expected to look like he's going to be cleared to play. So Daniel Jones could be playing and be the starter for this week's game against the LA Rams. If the New York Giants come out to another 1-5 start, what goes on? This is more about if they lose, because I think most people expect, look, I want to see the Giants win. If the Giants win, trust me, I'm a happy man. I will always be happy when the New York Giants win. That's my team. That's my diehard team. I go to my gravestone with the Giants. But realistically, this is a team that's coming off of a disappointing loss, a unfortunate in the sense of injury-prone type game, and just the way they were beat down by a team that's more just an exceptional team in the Dallas Cowboys. You're going against another exceptional team right now, currently in the NFC and in the NFL. So we expect the New York Giants to falter to 1-5 once again. My big thing is, will changes be coming for Big Blue after this week? And if so, what kind of changes?
Well, we know Galladay and Barkley are out. We'll see how well Daniel Jones' brain is. What's scary is the Rams have allowed a league low 4 sacks through 5 games, and only one team has produced fewer than the Giants' 8 sacks this season. So, as a Giant fan defensively, that doesn't stem well for us because, if you have Matthew Stafford on fantasy, make sure he's your quarterback. I mean,
that's Joe's fantasy lock of the week.
Listen, this game last year, the Giants were supposed to be blown out. If everyone remembers, the Giants went into that last year, and the Giants gave the Rams all they can handle.
Maybe it helped with no crowd.
Maybe.
The Giants are home, so I mean maybe that'll help a little bit. Or
until the first quarter is 20-0.
What was it? The Rams are. What was the thing? The Rams are just dominating. I mean, they're leading the league in offensive efficiency, yards per play. I mean, the Giants can't rush the quarterback. The Giants are beat up. I mean, we are supposedly getting Slayton and Shepard back. I mean, let's be realistic. I'm hoping the Giants make a game of this. Let's see what happens like last year. The expectation as a Giant fan is if we can win, let's win. I don't expect them to win. This is not a game they should win. They're not at the same – I'm going to use Troy Aikman. They're not at the same level. They're not the same caliber. The quarterback's level, the offensive line, they don't have – I mean, someone better be ready to block Aaron Donald so Daniel Jones doesn't get killed. You know, I mean, someone please protect him.
Oh, God. He's on the side of Node's shoulder. Oh, God.
We can't have Donald Jones. We can't have Donald Trump. We can't have anyone named Donald.
No Donald.
Oh no. That's the Scott Van Pelt thing. That's what could be a no. I just don't get Daniel Jones killed. Let's see what the Giants can produce. I mean, last week was, like Friday the 13th. Everything collapsed on the Giants. I mean, our quarterback, our running back, our receiver gets hurt. We're missing our left tackle. Our defense has not been solid whatsoever. Maybe the Giants could put a defensive effort. Maybe this is one of the games where we're shocked and they give it all effort. I think the Giants end up losing by double digits. I just think it's inevitable because I don't know. The Giants don't have enough offensively enough to keep up with this Rams team who, listen, right now is one of the best teams overall in the league. And then can the Giants withstand defensively? It's one of those things where you play hard, you keep the game close, but if you keep getting 3 and outs offensively, your defense is going to get worn out. It's not going to be able to hold, and eventually the dam is going to break in the fourth quarter, and the Rams will catch. And it'll probably be Deshaun Jackson over the top for a big old play. He'll have one catch for 62 yards. He'll flip backwards, break his ankle, but who cares? I mean, whatever.
I was hoping for
Deshaun. I don't know. I mean, that's the type of guy he is. I mean, he'd do a backflip and get hurt, but listen, hopefully the Giants can put a better effort. I don't think the Giants make any moves anytime soon. I think that you got to look at the bigger picture and go, this team is not healthy. This team is not put together. I mean, it's a puzzle missing pieces. I mean, we don't have a solid offensive line. We're missing offensive players. We're missing right tackles, left tackles. Our star running back is hurt. He's going to be out for a month. Our number one receiver hasn't been healthy. I mean, this is what the Giants do. They pick up a big-time receiver, and he's hurt all season. Hasn't produced anything. Evan Ingram, I thought maybe the Giants would have flipped him to the Cardinals, who just traded for Zach Ertz, and figuring, hey, listen, if you ain't going to use him,
what did the Cardinals trade? What are they?
The third round pick and a fifth cornerback.
They gave him a third round pick for him. Oh, why did the Giants not give him a call?
Well, I mean, the Giants could have picked up an extra third round and a defensive back. Could have picked up anyone.
What I've seen, the Giants are in the market for a corner. So what the hell? I mean,
Jordan Jackson is not that good.
He's been playing good. He's been playing all right, but he hasn't played to the level.
As long as the ball doesn't hit him in the hand. I mean, what's your expectation? What's your real expectation with this team?
I mean, I just hope that they just play a hard-fought game. I don't expect them to win this game because the Rams are a far more talented team. Like you said, it's a better coach. There's a better quarterback. They have a better offensive line. They have a better defensive line. They have a better secondary. They have a better linebacking crew. They probably have better fans right now than the Giants. They definitely have a better stadium, but I don't know what to expect from this game. I expect this just to be a 60-minute game that the Giants, I don't expect to prevail and come out victorious. It's a horrible, horrible matchup for the Giants. Coming off of a week that it's a dream you almost think of last week's game. You almost wanted to believe it was a dream, but it really was reality. And this is not the ideal matchup to be going against a team that has 10 days rest on top of it. Don't forget, they have 10 days rest. Stafford will probably be much healthier than he was the other day against the Seattle Seahawks. And you're going against this defensive line that we know causes havoc in the backfield. And for what we've seen from last week's game to a defensive line like the Dallas Cowboys, to what they did, I can only imagine what's going to happen come Sunday when the Giants go against this defense.
Start Mike Glennon.
Yeah, throw Mike Glennon in or something. Do something. I mean, Kadarius Toney has been a bright spot early on right now from last week's game. They got to get him involved more heavily. He looks like he could be a star for this team. But I don't expect the Giants to win this game. I expect this to be a blowout. I expect this. I really do.
Jones have to throw for 400 yards. You're gonna have
I
to
expect it to be like I expect it to be like a 35 to like 14 game.
No, I think 31-17 seems realistic. I think the Giants can put some points up early. Maybe, listen, Tadoni's going to be back, hopefully. I mean, listen, he got hurt too. We didn't even realize it because of his stupid reactions after in the fourth quarter. But he'll be back. Slayton's supposed to be back. Shepard's supposed to be back. You'll have Evan Ingram. You're going to have John Ross. You have Devontae Booker. Hopefully, Andrew Thomas will be back. That'll be significant. Maybe the Giants will start Matt Pert instead of Solder at right tackle. Hopefully, the offensive line can play better. Listen, Giants just got to play. Play with them. See what happens. Maybe get lucky. Maybe cause some turnovers. I mean, you never know. It's the New York Giants. We've seen better. We've seen worse. Let's not ruin our season in 1 week. But I don't think you're going to see any drastic changes with the Giants. You won't see any drastic changes late in the season. And you know what? The Giants are not one of those teams where I can't see them bailing. I can just see the Giants going even for 1-9. We're just going to stick with what we got because that's what the Giants do. They're not going to bail. I don't see it. And then who are you getting rid of? I mean, you're moving on from Evan Ingram. You would think so, maybe in his last year contract. They're not doing anything with the quarterbacks. Can't do nothing with Barkley. Who wants any of our linemen? The only one that you really want is Andrew Thomas. We're not getting rid of him. Do they move Shepard? Does the guy want Slayton? Is it too much? Because maybe you're moving forward with Kadarius Toney and Galladay as your number 1 and 2, and that's pretty good going forward. I mean, defensively, but who wants our defense? Right now, no one's playing significant. Maybe the Giants move on from Jabril Peppers because he's going to want a contract. I mean, these are things that down the road we'll see what happens. But hey, listen, maybe the Giants will give them a good fight and we'll shock the world. I've been shocked before, so I like to be shocked again.
We'll see what happens. It's a hell of a sports weekend. You got some great college football games as well. You got tonight starting for all Boston fans and Astro fans, the ALCS. The NLCS will be, I believe, tomorrow or Sunday. When is the NLCS tomorrow? I mean, it's going to be this weekend. I just don't know if it's going to be Saturday or
tomorrow night. No, so tomorrow, Boston plays again tomorrow. Houston 4:20 on.
Okay, so the NLCS.
The Dodgers and Braves are on tomorrow night. TBS 8:07.
Okay, so the NLCS and ALCS will officially be underway, starting tomorrow with both games, and tonight the Red Sox start tonight. But we are officially in the Final Four of the MLB postseason, plus the NFL. Huge games, huge implications with the Chargers, Ravens, Browns, Cardinals. We'll see what happens with the Giants. Also, the NBA will be starting soon, so we'll be talking about that, what the hell's going on with Kyrie Irving and that whole mess in Brooklyn. Great weekend for sports. Enjoy it. We are Keys to the City, streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So comment, like, subscribe, or share on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even Spotify we do have. So go check it out.
It's okay. You can click the share button. It's okay on Facebook.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We're good looking. We're good looking guys. Don't worry. People might want to say, "Hey, these are good looking guys." They might like.
Just click share, even if you don't want to watch us. Just click share.
That's all right. You don't have to watch us, ladies and gentlemen. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness.